this shit,
A
not
fraud.
the truth. Yeah, facts.
He's
And
a
then I
whole
did it
fraud.
again. I was like, maybe I just didn't tell anybody. So I told my friends, I was like, yeah, I put it under the pillow. Not my
Yeah.
mom. And then woke up the next day, shit still wasn't there. I was like, all right, yeah, fuck this tooth fairy.
I bet you told your mom no for that money, huh?
Yeah, of course I did.
You got to at that point. Are we live?
Yeah, we're live.
I was like, no.
I was doing it quick.
We're live?
Yeah, we're live.
Uh-oh.
Oh, there you
We're
go.
live?
Expo, yeah. You guys revealed all your secrets just now in a live audience. It's over. Cancelled.
Now everybody
We
knows
don't
we don't believe in the tooth fairy.
believe
Yo, the title's just human because I thought that's what Kelly wrote and I didn't see the second line that said human development and humanity. I'm gonna just keep it human. I'm gonna just leave it.
Okay, that's actually That's actually perfect. That's actually
like I
perfect.
did. I was like gonna actually. I was like, wait, isn't it? It's just human? And then I just saw the second line after I put enter. I was like, shit.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, this is our episode, human. You guys may be wondering what's that about, but right now we have a special guest, Rafi. You want to introduce yourself?
Go ahead, brother. Go off.
Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Rafi.
Mhm.
I'm Kelly's friend from high school. Kelly's crazy friend from high school.
Alright,
And
let's go.
I'm 23 years old in my final year of college. So I'm an undergrad of education and global history. So I honestly cannot see myself being anything besides a teacher. So that's what I want to do with my life.
Okay.
My favorite things to do in one sentence is just live the moment.
Okay.
And I'm very happy to be part of today's podcast, and I hope that all of you enjoy today's interesting discussion.
Okay. Lit.
What a nice intro.
Yeah. You actually had the most formal one. Usually we'd have to ask him
Yeah.
about the questions. You want him?
Facts.
Oh, go ahead, Malik. You didn't say anything yet. Go ahead, Malik.
Welcome to today's episode. You feel me? We're gonna be talking about humans and human development, and then I'm gonna be roasting the human race because we're terrible people.
Fuck humans. I never
Man.
fucked with humans since I was born. Shit. They ain't
What?
shit. They
Oh,
ain't
my.
shit. All right.
I ain't gonna
Oh,
hold you.
okay.
My boy looks
I
like
heard that different.
a dictator in that picture, bro. I kind of like it. He looks like he be giving out order.
Yeah, Robbie that was Robbie during one of his speeches. My man was pointing at people.
Bro, he looks like he's
Yeah.
pointing at me and looking down on me. Shit. I ain't wordy.
He's spitting.
Facts. All right.
But hey, that's how
We are
with a bad
yes.
picture. That's how you know that we're gonna have a badass episode.
Facts.
Word.
Right.
We already got some viewers.
You-
Shit, it's increasing.
Yeah, we are getting viewers.
Facts.
I do wanna. Oh, Rafi, you wanna see the chat? Just join the Twitch call and you can see the chat. But somebody already clicked.
Right.
Somebody already said
I
that. What's up?
One.
Okay. I already have the chat here. Somebody said Crafter said that we're S tier. Yeah, I guess I agree with that. We are S tier. And we got what are you guys gonna be talking about? All right, we'll repeat it one more time for people who are just coming in. We're going to be talking about human development and what makes humanity. So we're going to be talking about a lot of different questions about why people are people. Do we believe in certain things? Going to just a real talk about people, basically. That'll be the whole talk.
Hashtag fuck humans. All right. So we're gonna start it off, okay?
Mm-hmm.
First question. How do you define humanity? Let's just go from our guest star to us, right? Is that
Okay.
right?
Okay.
All right. So
Yeah.
Rafi, you want to start it up?
You can go first. How do you define humanity, Ralphie?
Humanity. Sorry.
Okay. So one thing that I like to, when it comes to defining humanity, humanity is made how? Finding between a male and female having sexual intercourse, and then it goes from generation onto generation, right? And normally you would think that when a baby is created, both the parents love each other, in which some parts of the world it is true that when a male and female have love for each other, they want to extend that love, and extending that love means, producing a child, producing offspring.
Right.
But at the same time, love itself has a different definition for everybody. What I may consider love may not be the same definition as to, let's say, what Kelly considers to be love.
Okay.
So the same way, humanity has a different definition for everyone else. For me, I would say humanity is the human race coming together on what we have in common, and anything which is different, we put that aside with mutual respect, and we discuss the differences later on.
Okay. Going off of that, I think another way you can define human beings is just like the idea of love, right? Because going back to what Rafi said before, with defining love, not a lot of animals, or no animal in general, has love. Right? So you can consider that one of the attributes of human being love, maybe some type of social uh, action to some extent, but like it's a little vague, right? Because people have a lot of things that we have in common with animals, and how we have the survival instinct, how we want to procreate, to keep a race having longevity and stuff like that. But I guess like in general, human beings are kind of like we're one of the only species out there that kind of like are self-destructive. You know, we're the at least from what I've seen, we're the only ones that are really self-destructive. How do you guys feel about that?
Shit.
Uh,
Are you want to go next, Malik?
Yeah, you can answer the question in general. You can go off of that topic. How are you feel like doing it?
yeah. All right. So I want to go next. I mean, I don't think we're the only species that's
Okay.
self-destructive. Like, even in really small cases, like when dogs attack
Okay.
each other.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
that's a really small
they
example.
be barking each other every 5 minutes, right?
Be
They pull
barking,
up.
and but like even so, like there are times where some crazy dogs get on the loose and they be killing niggas.
Yeah.
Well, not they be killing their own.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
And then there's all types of other shits. Like, creatures just having territorial fights that we know about. Like somebody gotta die.
Right.
Just like primitive nature shit. I don't believe that we're the only one that self destructs. I think it's just natural that some of us find ways to self destruct, even if we don't want to.
Okay.
But I think human doesn't necessarily have a like definition. Like humanity doesn't have a definition. It's just like things that we live by, and I do agree that it changes from person to person. Like my perspective of love might be different from Rafi's and Kelly's and blah 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 blah, etc. etc. But at the end of the day, even if like say 90% of us have that idea of love is what we need to survive, there's still another 10% that says fuck love, fuck all these emotions and shit.
Right.
And that's just like an obvious thing like love. Like like we could get further into like healthy eating styles, and that is like a 50-50 between I eat what I want and I eat what like keeps me strong and shit.
Yeah. Exactly. How about you, Leo? What's up, bro?
I mean, I agree with all of you guys. With when you guys mentioned love, I feel like anything with a feeling, any natural feeling is human. There will be like certain situations where people will say inhuman because it will be like that's not normal, and by normal I mean like a natural reaction for humans to do, such as feeling sad, feeling mad, any types of emotions that you like normal people do. But if inhuman will be like you start what you start barking or something like that, and you're a dog now. You're like you're completely different. You're a different species now. You're just a whole yeah. So
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah, I guess that is kind of vague. Yeah, because you would think inhuman would be anything an animal doesn't do, but there are some things that people do, and they categorize them as inhuman sometimes. Like like abandoning family could be considered inhuman, right? Like the idea of doing that, or like mistreating others who are weaker than you could be considered quote unquote inhuman, right?
Yeah.
So it's a lot of things that go into that, right?
And usually, some people will. I will also. I would like to go off of what Malik said about the dogs, like barking at each other. I feel like that's also that plays on with a human reasoning, and where dogs have their main objective, while humans have a different reason than dogs. I feel like there's different categories from feelings to reasoning, and like because animals can feel sad as well, but but they don't call it human, because they're not human. They're a different species.
That's true.
Adding on to the example of the dogs, I actually wanted to make a comment about that one myself.
What's up, bro?
Is that okay, so the way how I look at the way how I view life is that I'm a student of comparative religion as well. So like I read like the multiple different scriptures, the Quran, the Bible, the books of Hinduism, Sikhism, Jainism, Buddhism. But the religion that I follow is Islam, right? So in Islam, the two principal sources, number one is the Holy Quran. And the
Mm-hmm.
second one is what we call as hadith, which is generally in simple terms is known as the sayings of the Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings of God be upon him.
Right.
And when we read the Quran has multiple verses about humanity. The Quran mentions in Surah Hujurat, chapter number 49, verse number 13, Ya ayyuhan nasu inna khalaqnakum wa min zakarin aw unsa wa ja'alnakum shu'uban wa qaba'ila li ta'arafu inna akramakum indallahi atqakum inna Allah alimun kabir, which means, O humanity, O humanity, you have been created from a single pair of male and female, talking about Adam and Eve.
Right.
And we have divided you into different nations and tribes so that you may understand one another, not that you disrespect each other. And the most honored people in the sight of Almighty God are those people who have God consciousness and piety. So the Quran says that human beings have came from one in one source, that is Almighty God, and that every human being in the world are children of Adam and Eve. But it also then goes on to say that God says that we have created you in different nations and tribes. So humanity also falls under different ethnicities, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The Quran also mentions in Surah Rum, chapter number 30, verse number 22, that human beings have been created with different languages and colors. So when we read like as you mentioned that humanity does not have a single definition. Humanity is something which cannot be defined because it goes beyond the comprehension of the human mind. So when it comes to the feelings of animals, human beings are a very, very distinct creature from dogs and cats. We have more than 4,000 languages spoken throughout the world. But animals, they don't necessarily have the communication that we do, right? So
Right.
when I think about animals as compared to human beings, I feel that the main thing which we have to realize is that both have two different purposes of life. Now, I am not sure which any of you are vegan by chance, but it is commonly known throughout humanity that sometimes we think of animal as human resources. For example,
Mm-hmm.
chickens, beef, fish. That these are food. These have been created by God to be food for the human beings.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very strange how, like, when you think about humanity, people try to give it a definition, but I honestly feel that similarly how we say that dogs are not human beings, but yet they feel sad, yet the dogs get angry, and yes, in very small quantities, dogs do attack their own, and
Mm-hmm.
and very small. So how I look at it.
My man's spitting, bro.
Facts.
I gotta stay awake out here. But I think just to summarize a little bit what Rafi said, I think one of the things I took away from it was one thing that defines human beings is our diversity in some ways. How we're able to like have so many
Mhm.
different cultures, so many different backgrounds, and still be considered human. You know, a lion is a lion. A human being could be anything, technically, in a more broad and romantic sense. I think that's what Rafi's trying to get into as well, right?
I can be a Kelly Guion. Shit.
Well, yeah, if you if
I
you
could
if,
be a
if you
Kelly
adopt my
Yeah,
practices,
shit.
why
It's
not,
time.
bro?
It's time.
That's possible. It is possible. But yeah,
No,
I respect what you're doing,
yeah,
Rafi.
I respect the, I respect it. I respect everything he
Hmm.
said.
Yeah. Some people lost their IQ in the background while they're
Yeah,
watching it,
but
but
let me repeat this, guys, or let me just say this: if we ever say anything, we're not trying to force you guys to follow our ideals. Like,
right, right.
you can
Hmm.
we're just trying to share our opinions.
Right, right,
We respect your opinions, and hopefully you guys respect ours.
right,
Respect
right.
doesn't mean you guys have to follow it.
Right.
Just
That's why I wanted to bring Rafi here because Rafi is a
yeah,
man
I
who
like it.
follows multiple different analysis. Like he reads different types of religious books. So even though he is a part of Islamic and Muslim culture, he can still respect other people's beliefs because he read those beliefs as well.
Yo,
That's why I respect
when
this
he
man
was
a lot.
spitting, and he hit me with a bunch of culture, and I'm just like, shit.
What's your culture?
I never felt this way
Yeah.
before.
My
Sorry.
man's a I mean, it's a boring
He
speaker.
started spitting the direct scriptures, and I was like, oh man, I'm not ready for this.
Yeah, fact. Yo, I was like, yo, he's acting.
I was like,
Yo,
oh
he's
shit.
going hard. I'm like, shit. I'm not
It
ready.
just,
I was definitely not ready. I was like, oh man, you got the receipts right here, man.
Yeah, but no, but at the same time, right? The reason why I like to go back to these scriptures is because I personally feel that we are normalizing so many things which are not supposed to be normal. And some of these things may be offensive to others, but if we, like one thing that I think about, if human beings have been doing something for the thousands, possible millions of years we have been in existence, and yet we're just coming here like 20 years ago, we're saying that oh no, this is wrong. Yet our ancestors have been doing those things throughout their life. It doesn't really make sense to me because like if human beings have been doing something for millions of years, what changed in the year 2020 that we can't do that thing anymore? Yes, there are some laws that, you know, 'cause being a history major, that there are some laws which were just out of the question. Like Kelly, do you remember the Code of Hammurabi? Do you guys remember that law in social history?
an eye for an
Is
eye,
That
right?
that's the one, that's the doctor's code, right?
This
Hammurabi.
man
Yeah. Okay.
Hammurabi would literally cut people's hands off. Do we agree with that? Hell no. But
He did that.
yes, but like
Jesus.
that, those things like those we don't need to follow today, right? But I
Hmm.
always feel that many people have a misconception that you cannot follow religious books that are followed 4,000 years ago. Like that has been revealed like 4,000 years ago. The Quran being revealed only 1,400 years ago. So what I like to do is that I like to give references of the verses and bring them into our own time to show people that no, just because a book is 1,400 years old, that doesn't mean you cannot take guidance from it.
Hmm. Okay, I can understand that. I can respect that.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
actually I super agree with that actually.
Go ahead,
Just
Malik. Go off.
just the idea that that it's also going on in the chat where Crasher said religion at its core is a set of rules, morals, and beliefs, and I completely agree with like the fact that you could have a set like things that you believe in, but you should always be open for change and adaptability. Like situations should be reflected upon, and in like circumstance, you should be able to like reflect on yourself and make decisions based off of like what you think is good instead of just like what the scriptures are trying to tell you. It, yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Like the scriptures have the base idea, but you can develop your own like sense of what's truly right to be fitting in.
Right.
How
And I
would
think that
you?
goes back to the whole diversity aspect where like yeah, everybody's gonna take things in different strides, but you know, and then like I want to ask something else to this because like another thing that most people use to define human beings is their morals, right? Whatever we feel in the gut that makes us want to do certain things. You know, when we do a bad thing, when we lie, when we steal, we feel like a certain negativity in our body, and that makes us feel inhuman to some extent, right? So you can use that as a guiding factor as well. Like, what do our morals tell us? What does our human factors? What do our instincts tell us? Those things reflecting as human beings as well. I think.
First, okay, I wanna ask a question about that to you guys.
Go ahead.
How would you define your own morals, religion? Like, yeah, I know Ralphie said that he follows what was it, Islamic?
Islamic.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and he also like he studies the other religion as well. But like
Right.
for your own beliefs, how what would your religion be, and what is your ideals on it?
Okay. All right. You want to go
Okay,
like in a
so
you want to go like in a line or
Well,
something? Or like, what's up?
let me. I'll go first to explain. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so my family, they're Catholic, but I don't follow. I don't like. I'm not a. I wouldn't say I'm Catholic as well, but I would never. I don't know what I would define my religion. Like, I don't have a specific
Mm.
word. If you guys do,
Maybe
then yeah.
agnostic.
But I'll explain it though. It's basically
Mm.
I believe that all like I'll never refuse a god, like any god itself. Like if someone tells me they believe in a god, I wouldn't say they're fake. I will say okay, yeah, it could be
Mm.
true, right? But I'll never.
Yeah.
I would. It's like the opposite of atheism, I guess. It's like I believe in all gods.
Agnostic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that
Oh,
what?
yeah. No.
Like
You
I
believe
believe
in a
in
God,
all
but
gods, but I don't
you don't stick
follow
to
them.
religion.
Yeah, I don't follow
Yeah.
them. I
Yeah.
just believe in them.
Agnostic.
Like I was like, if
Yeah.
someone tells me there's a god up there, then I was like, yeah, I have no evidence that it's false because I'm not into studying in religion like that.
That's the word, right, Ralphie? Agnostic.
Yes. That's the
Okay.
word. Yeah.
Yeah, because anyone's gonna know it's gonna be Rafi because he studied their religion
Facts.
in the whole planet. So you don't know of everybody else. How about you, Malik? You want to go next, or you want me to go?
It's not what Egna. Wait,
Huh?
so
Just go into some background of your own. If you want to, no details, but you can go to your own background.
yeah, so basically, when I started out, like I was like hardcore Christian at the beginning of my life, up until like how long? I can't even remember, but basically, I used to go to church every Sunday, be a nice little good boy, read the Bible, go to Saturday school, and then at some point, I'm not gonna lie, I guess I like woke up, but I started like falling asleep in church, and I was like, I can't really get into this because it's, first of all, to me it wasn't very entertaining. As a kid, I just couldn't get into it, and then second of all, I couldn't find myself to actually believe in it anymore after time.
Okay.
Especially Santa Claus, all of this other shit that we're like, we're told fairy tales, didn't believe it. So I guess at some point in like my questioning phase, I was just like, yo, do I really believe in this? And I told myself I could believe in it if I ever saw like proof. But up until that point, you know, this does not matter to me. And not it doesn't matter to me. I spit in the face of people that believe in that shit, but just like
Right.
you do what you want, right?
Yeah.
It if your code, if your like way of living as a person in general, like religious or not, as long as you're vibing and not being a bothersome person to people
Yeah.
around you, that's fine. Who cares?
Just
Honestly,
vibe.
yeah. And because of that,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Go ahead.
sorry. Because of that,
No, take your time.
I ever found a religion for me that like fit my like way of life, like just fine. I could do it, but it's just getting to that point first, or finding the right one, which is why I told you I wanted to study like Islam for a little bit, because Christian wasn't perfect for me, and then all the other forms, Catholic, which are all other subsidiaries, weren't really right for me either. So it's whatever. Up until that point, though, I'm just chilling.
Okay.
That's all.
I'm gonna read that like in a minute. Let me just see my answer. So for me, it's actually very similar to Malik's point of view. I was converted into Muslim culture during my third year of high school, I believe, and during that time, one of the major factors that made me become a Muslim was because it just made sense. A lot of things that were written in the scriptures, like I view the Quran as not only like a holy scripture, I view it as like almost like a human manual. Wherever I read from that, I can evaluate and use to perfect my own life, use it to make myself a better person. They have a lot of things about dietary needs and like even actions and activities human beings should do to live a more prosperous and better life. So it kind of goes back to what Rafi was saying earlier about that. But in general, like there are things in the book that help uh, advance a person's life and make them a lot healthier person in general with like meditation and ways of making yourself a lot more of a positive person. Um, so that's kind of one of the reasons why I became Muslim. It's just because it made sense for me as a person who wants to grow more and actually expand my own knowledge. I became Muslim because of that. So it's more of that kind of reason. Outside of that, I guess it was more because I kind of wanted to believe in something. I wanted to find a reason to like for the world to be the way it is. I don't really like the idea of not having a higher power. The idea of there just not being anything else after we die is kind of like a little bit depressing and bitter to me. So I kind of like the idea of having there be a future after a future, where we have more in line to us, whether good or bad. It just makes me want to be motivated to keep on going on. So yeah, that's my belief system. But yeah, if you want,
Yeah.
we can go to the second question or whatever. Because I know we were getting highly religious. I don't want.
I mean, it's
I
fine.
don't want to go.
I like the talk. I don't know about you guys. I'm interested
Yeah,
in it. I
I
learn.
like it a lot too, but I
I'm
don't want
learning
to
a
get
lot
people
more.
in the chat uncomfortable or anything.
All right, no problem, no problem. All right, so
Yeah.
do you believe you're a social person? Can you live without communication?
Oh, do you want to go
No,
first,
I
Rafi? Okay, go ahead,
Okay,
Rafi.
so I do believe that I am 100% a social person, and in all honesty, I cannot live without communication.
Okay.
That's weird in the sense that my best friend Red One literally hates people, and
Mm-hmm.
he literally hates people. Like, hey, Kelly knows Red One.
Right,
Red
right,
One literally said that I do not want to work at a job that I have to see people face to face. I'd rather just be behind the curtain pick up phone calls. That's better. That's better than nothing,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
my best friend, I love him, I respect him, but he doesn't like people. So, but I on the other hand, I'm very open towards meeting new people, and the thing about being a social person, in my understanding, is that I am a realist when it comes to being a social person. What I mean by being a realist is that as like when you're in high school, you may
Hmm.
think all 30 people in the classroom, everyone is close to one another. Yes, but that is temporary. That is temporary. Once you grow older, you're always going to have those 4 or 5 individuals who you are absolutely insanely close with. And it's not about the quantity, it's about the quality, right? So when it comes to like being a social person, I need to have like those 5 people in my life, and the first one obviously being my parents and my fiance, who's now going to be my wife this summer. Keep me in your prayers. But
Awesome, brother.
communication, like one thing, okay, let us go back, let me use a religious example again.
I'll get it.
When we I like how when you guys were mentioning your answers about how do you view the different religions of your world, or how do you view your religious identity. I
Hmm.
love how each and every single one of you mentioned that you would never force your opinion over somebody else. And that is the same message that the Holy Quran gives. The Quran mentions in Surah Al Imran, chapter number 3, verse number 110, that Muslims have to
Got it.
spread the message towards the world. But the Quran also mentions in Surah Al Baqarah, chapter number 2, verse number 256, La ikraha fid din. There is no compulsion in religion. So the Quran mentions that you cannot force the religion upon someone else. The
Hmm.
Quran also goes on further to the extent, if you study the religion of Islam, the number one biggest sin is to associate partners with Almighty God. Associating partners can come in all different forms. The most common form being that you worship an idol, thinking that the idol will intercede to God. What God mentions in the Quran in 2 places, Surah Nisa chapter 4 verse 48, Surah Nisa chapter 4 verse 116, that Almighty God will forgive every sin but the sin of shirk, the sin of associating partners with Him. Almighty God will never forgive. Meaning that
Right.
if you commit idol worship, if you do not repent in this world, God will never forgive you.
Mm.
But at the same time, notice how the Quran mentioned that the worst act anyone can do is worship idols, is worship idols. But do you want to know another thing about what the Quran says about polytheism? Idol worship is polytheism. Quran says in Surah Al Anam, chapter number 6, verse number 108, do not disrespect those who worship another God besides Allah, lest ignorance would abuse Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the Quran goes back and says that when you, even though it is the number one biggest sin according to Islam, you do not disrespect a person who commits idol worship. The
Mm.
Quran says in Surah Fusilat, chapter number 41, verse number 34, that replace evil with goodness. So communication, we cannot have that if there is no communication. We
Right.
cannot have discussions when we do not communicate with humanity, and that has caused lots of harm. If you're a people who are considered conservative people, they're conservative because they never had a diverse understanding of the society around them.
Yeah, most of
uh
them.
Being from New York City, we are known as the melting pot in the world. People from all different cultures, all different religions, all different backgrounds of any context, we all live in New York. So we obviously see people of different cultures very differently as compared to someone who, let's say, is from India, and in India everyone is the same ethnicity. There's not really much diversity over there. They're gonna view people differently than how we view people. They may see something on TV, for example,
Hmm.
in which that now I am sorry to say this, but many people are still today calling Chinese people coronavirus people. But
Right.
us who live in New York City, we have Chinese friends. We have been to Chinatown many times in Lower Manhattan.
Right.
We have worked with people who may have been from Chinese backgrounds. So we know that just because the coronavirus did not started in China, that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean that Chinese people are coronavirus holders. But
Right.
someone from India, for example, who only is around Indians, he may be influenced to say something disrespectful like that.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you know why? Because his society doesn't have that diverse communication with other races. So I cannot live
And
without
you can sorry to
communication
cut you off,
because
Rafi, but you can spin that as well because in China they blame a lot of blacks for having the virus and saying that blacks are the holders of the virus. So it kind
But
of
that's
shows that
true.
even
that
so,
they
That's
say
that's
that.
true.
They said
so,
that.
so yeah, they did. They blamed it on black people for having the coronavirus. But like, and even though
Wow.
black people in China are like 1%, but like
You see,
regardless,
Kelly, you just gave the answer right there. If
yeah,
we were not in this podcast communicating, would I have that small little knowledge that you just gave me right now? That they're in China saying that black people are responsible for coronavirus. I would have never known.
yeah,
You
yeah.
just gave me you just gave
It,
me knowledge right there.
it
What's
just
the
systematic.
harm?
I don't know if
What's
it's
the
system.
harm
Yeah,
of
go ahead.
what's the harm of increasing our knowledge? Communication gives us that ability. Without communication, there will be no
Wow,
education.
That's facts.
that's tough to hear. That. It's
I
tough to
wanna
hear that.
say something about what he mentioned though, like what you guys were mentioning. It's along with the
Go ahead,
Asian
Leo.
hate crimes and or at least black hate crimes as well,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
hate crimes in general. Honestly, it's the sad part is it's not only with like older people, it's with even kids as themselves as well. I saw where a kid would bully the child like these are like actual kids. These are elementary school kids, not like middle school kids where
Right, right. Children.
they will just make fun of the they didn't want to stay near they didn't want to go near the Asian kid because they said that Chinese people have the coronavirus.
That's
And
crazy.
yeah, so but like and this kid was also black as well, so in fact this is all hate crimes in general. Can you I want to bring it back to the first question where it says about humanity. Can you
Yeah.
consider hate crime a human thing? Because it seems like it's in every race. It's not like a difference.
I
What
think
what
that's an animal thing. I think that's every animal in the world has a form of like distinguishing how do you say that word? Distinguishing themselves from others. Like for
Yeah,
example, like with family, right? Family is one of the biggest biases that all human beings have. We're biased towards our family. You know, there's no real reason behind it besides it being our family, right? And I guess you can of course I don't want to symbolize or like make light of racism or like prejudice, but like those things are kind of ingrained in some human beings because of the way they live their lifestyles or because of the way that their brains work. You know, if you live in society where there's not a lot of black people, going back to what Ralphie said, you're gonna be a little bit more fearful, a little bit more cautious around people who are different skin colors. You may have not seen those people before, so it's a little bit more of an X factor for you and that societal factor. Where if you like, for example, a lot of people who are like white and they live in hood areas, they say that they are quote unquote black because they live in those darker, not darker, in those more negative environments. So they see themselves as being in that minority kind of faction. And um, I guess to answer your question, I think in some ways it is human because it's a part of our way of adapting to society and a way of living. It's a way of just being an animal, being a living creature. It's a way of rationalizing where you are from in some ways and
facts.
finding the pros and cons. Yeah, I think that makes sense for being humanity. How you guys feel about it? I kind of went off of myself.
We
Malik.
can continue the second question if you guys still because we haven't
Oh,
we haven't gone any further.
oh,
I
Well,
love this
hold up,
topic
hold up.
so much. It just keeps adding up questions.
Malik,
I
go
love
ahead,
this.
bro. I think my favorite.
Yeah, I wanted to add on. I just want to say, like fucking first graders, elementary school, anybody below 10 years old, they have no filter at like whatsoever because
They
they
don't.
Nah,
don't
second one.
know any better. They they
Yeah,
just say the first comes to mind, and then after the fact, they think about whether or not it hurt somebody's feelings or whether or not what it actually means.
yeah,
And even then, the afterthought is still a baby. They actually don't think, they don't use their head, they just say it. And
yeah,
like eventually, like as time goes on, they eventually learn proper etiquette, probably because somebody slapped the shit out of them, or like their parents they manage to get to them, like
But what if their
yeah.
parents were the one
really
teaching them
disrespectful.
that?
That usually is the reason,
See
right?
Yeah,
that?
that's
There
usually
we
the
go. Yeah.
reason. That's usually the reason why they grow up to like
Yeah, they
they
hear
have
from
no
someone,
filter. They clearly heard it from someone, like Kelly said,
right?
and it's
Someone
just
that they
and that
there's
and
respect.
like if you ever study psychology, there's one thing where I forgot who, but like surrounding was a big part of children's development, where environment is key to what they're learning, how they're growing, stuff like that.
Yeah, whether it be like their school background or their neighborhood
You
or their
said neighbor,
parents,
yeah.
those
You said
all
the
take
hood, stuff
huge,
like that. You just
yeah,
learn stuff.
huge impacts. Yeah, yeah. But I do understand what Malik's saying. Cause Malik, 'cause, like for example, like we talked about this in the last episode, we talked about like third grade and how they teach you about slavery in third grade, right?
Yep.
And how some kids roll with that and they start saying a lot of insensitive jokes to either like either black people or Asians or anything that's not dumb. And in some way, I think what Malik's saying is true. Maybe in some ways, human beings or children, their curiosity is so strong that they say insensitive things just because they can and because they want to. I don't know. It's a weird concept. Like I guess we're getting into the idea of people naturally being evil to some extent. Like I don't know if we believe in that because I know like
They're like
if you go
chaotic.
back to they're
I
like chaotic, exactly.
I just want
Yeah,
to say the first time I was ever called, the hard R was by a black kid in like third grade.
third
Jeez.
grade. Wow.
You know,
Yeah.
that's
He-
funny. That's
he was-
funny because I haven't heard the N word or the hard art until actually really late. Like I heard the N word like in middle school, I guess. And then I heard the hard R in college. And
Wow.
yeah, I know,
That's
right? And
okay.
it's funny because I went to an all black school as well for high school. So, but no
Wow.
one's using
Okay.
that hard word, hard R at all, unless it's for like,
Yeah.
unless like my English teacher said it for a topic. But like outside of that, for outside of education, I haven't heard someone say it that's just to use as an insult until college.
Hmm.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. How about you, Rafi? What's up with that? What do you want? You want to discuss about the kids a little bit, or
Or I mean,
I was actually just thinking about
maybe I
mentioning
said it
about
wrong, but
children as well because okay, guys, we are all blessed that when we were children, we actually went outside and scraped our skin by falling off the scooter or the
I never
bicycle,
liked
for
that.
example.
right, we had childhood. We had childhood.
Pain.
While children today,
We weren't on
chil-
chairs all day. We weren't on
children today,
computers.
right? Children today are playing Fortnite 10 hours a day or Warzone ten hours a
Cursing out their
day.
partners,
But we went
going
outside and
ham.
we rode bicycles,
Mm-hmm.
baby. We rode scooters, we roller
Yeah,
skated and everything.
we horse
Let's go.
played.
But at
We
the
went
same
ham,
time, right?
man.
When we think about communication, one thing about communication, you can say the gaming industry is the one of the biggest industries throughout the world. Before I actually came back to gaming, well, I'm not a gamer. I consider myself to be a COD boy, which is
Pathetic.
just person who
Let's be,
mainly plays Call of. Yeah, we COD boys over here. We COD boys.
we saw that
But at
actually.
the
Someone
same,
That's a lot
commented
of.
on that. Someone actually
Yeah, they
mentioned
said
that.
you wouldn't 1v1 them.
what happened?
Someone mentioned
Someone
in the
commented
in the
that.
chat, yeah, like oh, in the beginning,
Mhm.
Wait.
they're like,
Someone
isn't
called
that
out
the guy
Ralphie.
who denied me of my 1v1 in COD?
They caught you, bro. They
Bro,
They
exposed
got
you.
you.
None of my friends are gamers, right? We're philosophers out here. We just talk
Kelly's
about
not a
shit, right?
gamer, that's why
We're not gamers out here. We don't got time to play video games.
I'm a very humble. I'm a very humble Call of Duty
I'm not.
player. But if anyone wants to get this 3.3 KD work, I'm down. But going
Jesus.
He's
going but
spin.
going but going furthermore, like I wanted to give gaming as an example because when you play games such as like battle royales, which are insanely popular, I don't think it's possible to win a battle royale without communication between teammates, right? Now, back in like 2012, let's say Black Ops 2 on the PS3 or Xbox 360, game chat was something which was forced, right? You didn't have like these private party chats in which you could just enter your friends. But let's say that if you're playing, I never played Fortnite before actually, but I have played Warzone a couple of times, and
Yikes.
I'm starting to enjoy Warzone, although I'm more of a multiplayer guy as compared to Battle Royale. But let's say if you're playing Warzone, right? You're playing what is it? Quads. Four people in one team against 150 other players. Let's say that two of those players are in a private party chat on PlayStation, but then two of the other players are on game chat. I feel like communication actually, like, because two teammates cannot hear the other two teammates, there is no communication going on. There's no way they're gonna even have a chance of winning that particular match, right?
Mm.
But at the same time, when we come to, when I feel like that when people gaming, although it is social, people have to learn maturity because children are there. I have been in lobbies in Call of Duty in which one person on, let's say, my team is talking trash to someone on the other team, something which I heard before, not which I immediately thought to myself, "Yo, man, you gotta relax." I don't really talk on the mic, but I didn't say it to him, but I was thinking, I'm like, "You have to relax." This man told a child, maybe like a 12-year-old kid on the other team, that I wish I could go back in time so I could punch your mom when she was pregnant with you, so you died in the stomach.
Jesus.
Yikes.
You know what's
Yo,
funny?
That's
You know what's funny?
raw.
You know what's funny? I feel like I remember playing COD, but I wasn't like that pro like him. He probably is like a god in that game, or sorry, like a greatness. But I was when I played Call
Yeah,
of Duty.
I love that Leo's having it.
When I played
Go
Call of
ahead.
Duty, when I played Call of Duty back in the days, I was that kid. I was that 12-year-old who tried to trigger the adults, just
Oh,
cursing them.
really?
Huh? Like I was like in middle school, and I would just try to trigger them, cursing them out or making like them like some voice over. But I can relate to this
I
so
feel that.
much. I mean, I
Yeah.
also I feel like the same thing is with League player as well. Uh, that there's
The
communication as
thing
well there.
like me, the way how I look at trash talk is that we have to remember that these players are just, they don't hate each other in real life. They just, many people just talk trash because they want to have, they just want the competitiveness to become more heat, I guess you can say. But
Heated? Yeah.
then you also have to remember that you have to still be careful with what you say online. Like, really, like, if I would go back in time and punch your mom in the stomach when she was pregnant with you so you wouldn't be, that's just overboard right there. Like, and that's one thing that I remember myself as a COD player, is that I don't talk smack because I let my actions do the talking for me. Me
Facts.
and Red One, when we play Call of Duty, I actually thought about telling Red One, let's go on game chat more so we could hear what other people are saying. But me and Red One, when we hear when we hear people with deep voices, we just say to ourselves, "Yo, let's kick some deep voice ass right now."
Mm.
But like all the gaming is very fast growing industry, huge communication required if you want to win these modern day events and tournaments that go on. But at the same time, like, when it comes to like
Yikes.
when you communicate with people, especially the people who you don't know, people gotta watch what they say, because you never know what that person may do behind the screen, like how sensitive they may get.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah. No, that's facts. I think going off like I don't know. I think we can all agree, and this is how I go into the next question. I think I don't know what question is next, Leo.
Well, I
I
mean,
think next
I
question is
don't think
internet.
any of
Right?
us answered the communication one besides Ralphie.
We didn't.
No, I don't think.
Oh,
Like, I mean,
okay.
we
You
can
don't, you
make it
don't-
quick. I mean, he's spitting out facts,
Oh
which
yeah,
is I
okay,
like.
because this kind of goes to the next question, but I don't know if you guys want to keep on going to this
But
one.
I mean, I can say it quick about am I a
Go
social
ahead. Yeah.
person? Yeah, I consider myself a half decent social person. Can I live without communication? No, I mean, I can live with communicating people through like voice, like talking like this, and then also from messaging as well using
Hmm?
social media. I can live with that, but I can't live without
Yes,
having no one to talk to because I get bored
hmm
and
I
even
feel
like
that.
and I like multiplayer games as well. Like I like to play games that and like League of Legends, and but if I'm only playing by myself, it's just like I'm gonna start talking to strangers and losing my mind because there's that 12-year-old who's triggering me every second.
Okay, okay.
Bad. I'm positive there's 12-year-olds that just do it on purpose. I'm
Yeah,
positive.
that's a fact.
They just want attention.
They do it on
Sometimes they don't got
purpose. They don't
parents. They just want to like find somebody to talk to, whatever. A lot of things go into it. Yeah. How about you, Malik? How do you feel about communication in general, and like if you're able to talk to people or whatever?
I don't think I could. I could do it every now and then, but I don't think I could do it for long. Like if I was to go like a week,
Mm.
I'd be fine chilling. But then the next week, I'd have to go I'd have to have some sort of stimulating conversation with somebody, or
Mhm.
just casual anything. I don't think I could do it for long. Not at all.
Okay. 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 Uh, I think I'm somewhere in the middle. Because back when I was younger, I kind of wanted to become that person who didn't talk to people. I kind of like the idea of just being on my own and not speaking to people. But then, like, that kind of nerfs you as a person because you don't get to learn a lot more. You kind of stay ignorant and you kind of just become like this more closed off and negative person in general, right? Like a more jagged person. So I feel like talking to people actually is a benefactor for human beings just to like be able to grow and develop as people. Right? Hence us being social creatures or whatever, right? But like I don't know. I think it's overall net positive to talk to people. So I agree with that. I think we're all in the mindset that we have to talk to people in order to grow and be happy and all that good stuff. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I agree with it. All right. And you want to go to the next question, or do you want to like cover
Yeah,
this a little bit more?
we can go
All
to
right.
the next question. I have pizza in my mouth.
Oh, I
My
can read it.
food
I can
just
read it.
came.
You can keep on
No,
eating.
no,
You
no.
got a kid.
I
No, I
got
can
this.
read
I
it.
got this.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay, okay. Shit. Go, you got it, bro. Go ahead.
Was the internet a net positive or a net negative?
We got ASMR now.
Back.
Well, this is the one that I've been
All
waiting
right.
to
Well,
give my
all right.
opinion.
We'll let Leo go last. You can go ahead, Ralphie. Go
Back.
off.
Thank you.
Hmm?
All right, guys. So one thing that I want everyone here to remember is that human beings, we live by one law. And that law I call the law of average, meaning that nothing in the world is 100% guaranteed.
Hmm.
There have been airplane accidents, there have been car accidents. Yet, if Kelly wants to go to R- Republica Dominicana right now, he's
Yeah,
going to have
Dominican
to get on
Republic.
a plane, you know? But at the
Hmm.
same time, there's still no guarantee that Kelly's flight to Dominican Republic will be successful. It can even get into an accident midway. Yet,
Right.
we human beings still enter a plane full of confidence, full of smiles, and the average person does not think about anything going wrong when entering a flight, right? People, we have had car accidents before, but we still get inside the car. So human beings live by the law of average because we get into a car and we get into a plane. Because if you compare the ratio between the how many safe flights have been successful as compared to how many flights have gone through accidents, it's very safe to say that planes are definitely safe. And some people may even argue, and I'm one of those people, that planes are safer than cars, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Okay.
Like when the internet is the same way, we have to apply the law of average when we talk about the internet being a good thing or a bad thing. There's not a 100% guarantee that everyone's internet experience is going to be the same. Today I saw a video of on YouTube. It just randomly came up on my recommendations, and in the video, apparently, from what I understood, it's like two guys who they go to the dark web and they do stuff in in the dark web and then make videos out of it, right?
Yeah.
And someone like me, like when I saw that, because Red One told me what the dark web was, but someone like me, I said to myself, who wastes their time with this shit?
Oh
Like
damn, you definitely you roasted one
who
of the people in
has
the
the
chat right now.
time? Like,
He
who
getting
has
your
the
ass right now,
time?
Crashers.
Who has the time to enter the dark web and do
Nothing.
stuff like,
No.
like like we don't have time for this shit. So
Yeah, yeah,
what?
facts.
Like for me, right? Like I don't use the internet to do things in which in reality is not going to benefit me at all. But there are going to be people who will like think they're badass and stuff and enter the dark web and possibly get themselves into trouble, you know.
Right.
So so like the same way, like the law of average, the internet use is going to be more good than bad. Again, if you compare the ratio between how many people have gone through, let's say, cyberbullying in the internet as compared to people who have not gone through cyberbullying, the percentage of people not going through cyberbullying is higher. But you still have to acknowledge that there has been people out there who had a bad experience and did get cyberbullied through the internet. So internet has its goods and its bads, and it also depends on the individual on what they choose to do with the internet. Like you could be a college student and be paying for college, but at the end of the day, It's what you make out of it. To think to yourself whether your college experience was a good one or a bad one. That's how how I look at the internet being a net positive or a net negative.
Okay. So you just believe that because it's more positive than negative about internet, we should just see it as a positive in general.
In general, yes, we should see it as a positive, but at the end of the day, it's all up to the individual who is behind that computer screen. Like literally, when I saw the YouTube video, I was like, "Dark web, who wastes their time with this shit?" But that's
Right.
me, you know.
Right.
That's
Exactly.
the way
Yeah.
I look at it.
Just to add more context to that, like I know one person in the chat, not to expose him, I won't say his name, but there's someone in the chat who does go on the dark web, and he would buy, like, for example, uh, I believe they're called. I have really bad knowledge about hardware, but I think it's called a hard drive. He would buy like a hard drive for cheaper because it's cheaper on the dark web than it is like pedestrian. A dope thing that he
Hmm.
would do, like because it's better sales, easier things to work off of. So there's things like that, I guess, in general. Like, of course, even in the dark web, there are still like fictional pages out there. Like you have to go deep into the dark web to even find anything that's remotely like illegal activity. Um,
Hmm.
but like in general, I know people do that because they want to get cheaper options, or they want to just be there for fun, or to find the quote unquote dark sides of the internet, whatever. But to add my little insight on this, I think internet overall, I think it also is a net positive because you have, like, for example, like without internet, this COVID thing would have been a lot more worse. We would have been sending letters to each other. Like,
Right, right.
during this COVID thing, we wouldn't have the podcast. Without internet, we don't have the podcast, right? And without internet, we don't have online jobs. We don't have like education is completely like muted because it would basically, if we didn't have internet right now during COVID, we would have to basically, like, parents would have to teach their kids how to do half of what they're learning in school right now. School would all be delayed by about 2 years, looking like, right? So
Right,
there's a
right.
lot of things that you
Maybe
have to,
more.
like, yeah. So you have to get all things being taken for granted. Of course, when I think about the negative of the internet, like, for example, like, it might be a little political, and we don't have to get into it too much, but like the Capitol riots, right? A lot of those things, the Capitol riots, they were discussed in the internet with Parler and Twitter. So like a lot of stuff happened because it was organized on the internet, and that led to a horrible event where 5 people died. Sadly, right? So like things like that happen for positive or negative, and we just have to kind of see how those things really affect our world, right? Where you can argue that things like the like you can argue that people not taking COVID seriously because of the internet. Where people on the internet are like, hey, why worry about that when blank blank, the numbers say that only 10% of people died of COVID. So why do we care about COVID? When, even though it may be 10% or 30%, whatever number it is, whatever arbitrary number it is, it's still killing people, right? So that should be the fact that we follow. People like to take matters into their own hands. It makes people too comfortable saying the wrong things because they have like this little number to back themselves up or whatever, right? So that's kind of like my 2 cents
You
on it.
Kelly, I really love how you mentioned that because there has been a customer at my store who when I asked him about COVID, right?
Uh-huh.
Because parents were extremely concerned of sending their children to schools when De Blasio said that the school year is gonna open regularly, of going inside the building. And
Yeah,
one of the customers told me, "Oh, there's a 99.95% survival rate." That still doesn't mean anything. If one person even dies from this virus, that's
that's so
enough for us
dangerous.
to
Yeah,
yeah, that's enough for us to
yeah.
start taking serious action
People have
against
people.
preventing
Yeah, people have the
the
nerve. Like one of the biggest arguments that they had for COVID. Sorry to cut you off, Ralph. One of the biggest arguments they had for the COVID thing was they would always argue that it only affects elderly. Like I don't want to be black. I'm gonna be black. My nigga. Like we half of our households have elderly people in it. Like people are like always like, oh, I'm young, I'll be fine. When you go to your household, when you have your parents that get sick, they're gonna be the one that die from that shit. So like I always hate that argument when people say, "Oh, it's just going to affect the elderly," like where young people don't die to or whatever. Of course, young people do die to this. It affects everybody. People have horrible immune system; they get affected more. But the point of the matter is that, like, people, like, for example, I am a young, beautiful black man, right? But regardless, I have a parent. I have parents who are older in their mid 50s, and if they get affected by it, they can easily die to this stuff. So I take myself a lot more seriously. People be like, "Oh, you're young, you're fine." Like, nah, nigga, it ain't that simple out here. We got family to worry about. Like, I hate that argument so much. So thank you for bringing it up, Rafi. People love to bring up their stupid statistics in order to justify their stupid ass actions. So that's true. Yeah. I
I
but
don't I don't
what's up?
care if
Sorry
there's
to
a
cut you off.
99.95%
Excuse me. Sorry.
death rate. If one person dies, that's still too much.
Yeah.
Facts.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Malik.
Oh, trying to say. Speaking of which, I forgot
I'm
to
kind of cute.
tell this. But my brother actually got COVID on Monday. He was diagnosed like after the episode, and he was at my house on Sunday. So
wow, I hear that.
my mom was actually very very scared for like if she got it.
Right.
So she went, took a test, and then well, I didn't take the test. I told her like, if you take it and you don't have it, then that just means I don't have it.
That's so ignorant.
That's crazy.
That is what I told her though. I was like, if you don't have it, then I don't have it.
Honestly, I wouldn't want to take the test, but I have to for work. It's well, like but I'm not gonna like if my work ever since my work tells me like I have to take it every time there's a break. I don't complain, but if I had a choice, I wouldn't take it. Like fuck it, I'm staying home. Majority of the time, actually all the time.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, but I'm guessing it's good news then, right, Malik, that she didn't have it.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, look, she either way, she took a flight. She's chilling in Guyana right now. That's not
okay. I'm glad your mom chilling, bro. I feel bad for your brother. Tell that nigga to drink a lot of orange juice. I heard orange juice helps a lot with COVID. I heard it's like a good immune system, whatever it's called.
You know like remedies: ginger, onion, turmeric.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? A little bit of lime and salt. You know what I'm saying?
Lime and salt. Soup.
Fact.
Soup.
Any type of soup. As long as it's
how
hot.
we do it, bro. You can't be chewing on solids when you're sick, bro. You gotta, you gotta take care of that throat. I saw that.
Yeah.
But how you feel about the internet being on net positive or net negative? How do you feel about that? Some of you guys still didn't answer. I didn't.
Oh, we all went already.
Oh, okay.
We all
went
already.
I did. I still did.
Well, Malik didn't go yet. Malik was giving me a flashback. Go ahead, Malik.
It's definitely a what is it called? A double-edged sword. It goes both ways. Like I can name thousands of times where like I've made like sales or done things on the internet, and then I could also name like 1,000 times where shit has just not gone my way. Like have you guys ever you get added by like one of those random bots on like Facebook?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
And then
those girls, right? They just be pulling up.
It's tempting. I always, I'm just looking at my phone.
I feel bad because some of my friends, I won't say their names. Some people in this call. Some people not in the call. Some people in the chat room. They be kind of accepting those friend requests. I'm like, bro, what's going on?
I got it. That's me right there. I look at them like that profile picture. Kind of hard.
I'm positive that the kid is at least happy you're being honest with them.
I'm just saying, like when I look at the profile, I feel like they have one image uploaded and that they're talking about like dating something. I'm like, all right, bro, get the fuck out of here.
I have to accept it though.
But
you have to.
But guys, I want to add on one more thing.
Go ahead. Wait, let me finish. Let me finish.
You guys get your answer.
So one time, right? Just out of pure boredom at the peak of like COVID in like April, I was talking to one. Just to see what would happen, and then out of nowhere, it like called me on Facebook, and then it like my phone picked up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, wait, what the fuck is going on? Because it's in my hand already.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And like some random displayed video was playing, and it was trying to talk to me. So I hung up, right? And then you know what the bot did? The bot took a screenshot of me and then was like, I'll threaten to send this picture to all of your fucking friends and family. I'm like, yo,
what?
That actually sounds like it sounds like a Black Mirror episode. Someone did
that. That sounds like a fucking movie.
Yeah, have you ever watched Black Mirror?
No, I never did.
No? Okay, so there was
Black Mirror. Yeah, go ahead.
There was an episode. Yeah. Sorry for spoilers, but it's been out like a long.
Actually, been around for 10 years.
Yeah, facts. But there was an episode where it did that to a guy, and it was a plot twist where it was a picture of him jacking off, right?
Oh,
and
damn.
he was so freaked out. He had to do all this mission, and you'll think, but everyone jacks off, right? If that gets out, it's fine, right? But then the plot twist was at the end, spoiler alert, that he was jacking off to little girls. And so
he deserved to go to jail for that.
So stuff like that is kind of crazy because I can't, dude. I would never click a link that I never heard of. I would never do something. I'll never talk to anyone on social media.
Speaking of that, I don't mean to go away from Malik answering the question because I want to answer it, but like, do you guys believe those things? Like, you believe the FBI is watching through your camera or something like that? Do you believe in that thing?
Oh,
I mean,
hell
then
yeah.
they watch me beat
Yeah.
your meat. Then shit.
I don't think they're like
Okay,
actively
I don't think they're
watching
watching
everything
beating
you
me.
do.
I don't think they care about that.
They most definitely watching
They
you.
probably are.
Yeah.
They probably are.
You're a 23 black.
So
You're
you, you tape your computer monitor? You tape your fucking your
hell no.
camera? Oh,
No,
okay.
that
Dude,
that shit is true, but that's like a myth.
I am positive that to some extent we are being watched, but I don't even care because if I'm not doing anything
Oh wow.
wrong, what they're
Yeah, we
gonna do?
chilling. Because I
We
know they have like a
chilling.
blacklist. Like if you look up like for example, like if you look up like how to make explosives, I think they put you on like a blacklist or whatever. They
Donald
keep you on
Trump definitely
monitor.
on that list.
Okay.
Donald Trump been on a list the minute he started breathing, dog. On God. But yeah, go ahead. Malik, wait, you didn't answer yet. Go ahead, Malik. Fucking answer the
No,
question.
I said it was a double-edged sword. That was
Oh,
like
you.
long and short of it. Yeah, good and bad. Yes.
Can
Okay.
I?
How
I
about you,
didn't.
Leo?
Yeah. What do you mean by net positive and net negative? I know someone
Well,
said
net
keyword net, and I'm like confused about that. Like,
net
what does that
basically
mean?
means it means that it's the net average. So it means that that's like everything given. It's like nothing could be 100% positive. So it just means it's more positive than negative. That's
Okay.
all it means.
All
That's all
right.
it means.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
wait.
like honestly, like there's two. I think it's in between. Like, is it more positive than negative? I'd rather have I'd rather have internet than not have internet.
True.
As kind of like that's where the communication comes in as well. Now that we live in a like COVID pandemic episodes,
Public society.
we kind of have to use the internet to like talk to people, use voice chats. Actually, if people, I know some people do it in the hospitals where if they want to like if your family gets COVID, they have to use the internet to talk to them. They can't just go there. They set up like Zoom calls. They set up these random Facebook calls, stuff like that. So I think it's more positive than negative. I know people. I don't know why society have this thing where, like especially with Twitter, where people will say Twitter's like negative and like cancerous, but it's you guys. But they what is it? What's that word? They're self-aware of it. They know it's bad. So clearly, it's not really affecting anyone if majority of them knows it's bad. That's in fact, I just believe that they're just naturally like that. It's not Twitter's fault. It's those people.
Yeah.
But
So you think? Yeah. I agree with that. I think to some extent, like, not just to like piggyback off what you're saying. I think to some extent, people like, I think they get too comfortable because they can hide behind a screen, so they can say a lot of different things. Like, it goes back to like the Call of Duty, example from Rafi. People just say things because they can say things and they don't have to worry about the consequences of it. But take away those consequences, and they're not going to say half the things they're going to say. Like it's for example, everybody who went on the internet had to give up all the information in order to speak on the internet. Like they had their full name on display and they had their addresses linked to their account. They wouldn't say half the shit they're saying right now because they know what would happen afterwards.
How would you guys feel? Like there was actually a comment along with what Kelly said.
Yeah.
There was an episode on South Park. I'm sorry, I'm just full of spoilers. I don't know if you guys, this is spoiler warning, spoiler alert. And there was an episode in South Park.
Mute for like 5 minutes.
Where where the like people's search histories and everything they said was linked to their address. So now everyone and their email stuff as well. So later on, it was spread across the world where everyone was able to search up what somebody said and their address. So and it was like to attack trolls and stuff. So like if you're writing the hard R on the internet anonymously, someone will find out who you are. And how would you feel that? How would you feel about that right now if that happened to us in this scenario?
Oh, I'm cold. I'm golden. Like Rafi said, I got nothing to hide. I'm chilling.
Right.
I'm good. I don't feel like I say anything that's too controversial. I think I'm pretty good overall. Maybe me saying I'm the best writer. I mean, some writers might pull up on me, but like some writers might pull up.
They gonna pull up.
Kelly gets a Harry Potter book, a whole novel gets thrown into his window.
Rowling just knocks on my door, like
the whole novel came busting in through the window.
Yeah.
Be warned.
How about you, Malik? How do you guys feel about it, Rafi? How do you guys feel about the idea of your being publicly known?
And that means everything, like everything you've done online.
Will be displayed.
Let me tell you guys one thing. Every time you make an account of something, you have to there's like this. I agree, but do you guys even read all 26, 30 Hey,
No,
hell no, nobody does
no, we don't
that,
got
right?
time for that.
That thing is more terrifying. That thing can be more terrifying than someone like Samsung TV watching me to some extent. Like that's more
Yeah,
terrifying. Yet
yeah.
we're not
That's
Sometimes,
terrifying.
afraid. We press I agree without reading it. But hey, that's more scarier than people possibly watching me. And like I said, as long as I'm not doing anything wrong, I'm chill.
yeah,
I'm
exactly.
dead.
same,
I'm dead.
same. I get
I'm
pulled.
All right,
The
dead.
whole
okay,
FBI, everyone just pulls up into my door and
Yep.
just
okay.
starts.
I'm gonna stay on my nigga Malik because I don't want Malik to be by himself. If it was 16-year-old Kelly, I'm dead.
Yeah,
But because I'm a
I am
new,
dead.
I'm dead.
Yeah, but
because I'm a new
but you have to
grown
understand,
man.
we live in that type of society where people won't
Yeah,
forgive your
bring up your
past.
old stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they will
exactly,
like
exactly.
they'll
Yeah,
be like, okay, you're a changed man, Kelly, but this is 16-year
yeah.
old. We can't have
Then they
this.
they gonna see a lot of videos they don't want to see, bro. They gonna see a
Facts.
whole bunch of videos. Too many to count.
All right, we can go to the next question if you guys are
A
fine with
lot
it.
of YouTube poops too. But yeah, but but yeah, we go to the next question.
All
Oh,
right.
Rafi, you
I
want to
think for
wait?
the most part I'm safe, but there's a couple of
Yeah,
things.
it's nothing cancer worthy. It is a lot of like a lot of smut. Just a whole bunch of smut back in the good old
The
days.
dark ages, the good old days, the good old days. I call them the dark ages, you know,
The dark
the
ages.
dark ages. You know, we were kids.
It's always my dark ages. But yeah,
Facts, you know.
but Rafi, you want to add something before we go? 'Cause I know you want to say something about the internet, right?
Oh yeah. The thing I wanted to add, right, is that I also feel that when it comes, like, the bad thing about the internet now is that there's always that increase of ignorance because people don't see behind the scene. And
Mm.
again, I'll give a Call of Duty example in which there was okay, I'm a humble Call of Duty player, but I'm way better than this guy who was talking trash to me. Like, I don't know what he's trying to
Damn.
Yeah,
do.
I mean,
I don't know what he was trying to do, bro. But okay, so in Call of Duty and Fortnite and all these other games, one controversial topic is skill-based matchmaking, in which the matchmaking system is like what it is, skill-based matchmaking, in which they put you against players either of your own skill level or better than you as a way to protect the newer players from quote unquote by the developers getting punched in the face, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, this
facts.
has caused lots of controversy for the more of the hardcore players because they feel that they should not be forced to play quote unquote free tournaments every single game because everybody's on the same skill level, right? And back then, Call of Duty matchmaking was based on connection. So it was like a healthy mixture between good
Yeah.
players and bad players in the lobby.
Mm-hmm.
But now, and I'm one of those people, I do not want to face against, like, I don't want to have to try my absolute hardest every time, every single game, you know?
Mm.
But at the same time, like, bruh, like, I'm a big dog in Call of Duty. So, like, I still go ham against people of my own skill level and make them look like they have no thumbs to
Scrubs.
shoot back, bruh.
Exactly.
Like,
Hopefully talking this
but
shit.
I uploaded some gameplay on YouTube, right? And there's this one guy who I kicked his ass 3-0. I don't know why he's still, but he called me a cheater. He never wants to acknowledge that a defeat. But he says that, oh, your lobbies are much more easier than mine. The players that I get put against are all professional and level 1000 and et cetera, right?
This man need to go outside.
And he was saying that, oh, like, my lobbies are so much easier, but he said that when he only watched my YouTube gameplays. But at the same time, like, many people in the Call of Duty community fail to realize that it's not that the our lobbies are easier. Maybe I played 3 hours that day, and this is that one good gameplay which I got, which I felt was worthy of uploading on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
People in the internet, what they do is that they see one gameplay. Oh, Rafi gets put against people who are way below his own skill level. That's the only reason why he's looking good. No, there. That's
It's
one
just
thing with the
raw
internet.
talent, baby.
Maybe
Just to say how it is,
people
it's just raw
believe
talent. All right, don't worry about that.
people believe people believe that one thing they see, but they don't know the background behind it. And that's the thing, that's the example of the internet, that people have to realize that what we're reading is only one side of the true story.
Facts.
The same way with my gameplays is that that's not my game every single time. There are games in which I struggle, but is it really entertaining for viewers to watch someone have like 40 kills and 30 deaths? No. It's entertaining to see a nigga go 90 and 0.
That's all I'm saying.
Like,
Facts.
Facts.
that's
That's what I'm saying.
That's actually facts. If you have a YouTube, I'm okay with subscribing.
Yeah, we can post
Or
it
Facts.
if you
following.
Facts.
want.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, drop that YouTube
I'll
channel
subscribe
now.
it.
You're on the spot.
Speaking of YouTubes, remember the contract we had before? How everybody forgot about that? Yeah. No, I ain't getting my YouTube channel.
Oh yeah.
No,
I
but
just forgot.
I feel that this is this is
What's the
the
contract?
example. This is the example that I wanted to give, is that it's not like obviously Call of Duty is not the only example I can give, but it's a very good example in which people say, "Oh, he's not actually a good player," because look, my the people I play against are not as bad as the people he's playing against right now. No, you're only seeing the YouTube video. You didn't watch the 8-hour Twitch stream. If you watched the stream, you would realize that this is that one good gameplay he got out of the, maybe let's say 40 games he may 40 matches he may have played that day, and
That man might be
he felt
trash.
that this gameplay is worthy of uploading on YouTube. So
Mhm.
I feel like when it comes to the internet, we have to also always remember that we are, many times we are only looking at one side of the story. But if you want to know the thing in depth and truth, you have to go to back to the context of it.
Okay.
Go to the background.
Yeah. And also, if you want to like link your YouTube, give it to me, and I'll link it on the chat if you want to.
Facts.
If you
Sure.
want.
I upload random gameplays, but sure.
Yeah. We
That's
you
fine.
can just give it to me on Facebook, and I'll put it on the chat later on later. But
Sure.
want to move on or what's up?
Yeah, we can. Um.
Yeah.
All right. How do you feel about the meat consumption? And I'm talking about meat's meat,
Oh.
not like what you
Give me a
dirty
second.
kids out there think of.
Okay, let me start this. So, first of all, I would like to say, anybody in the chat, if there is a vegetarian or a vegan out there, I mean absolutely no disrespect towards you, because you live your life the way how you want to live your life. I live my life the way I live my life. But one thing that I also want to make sure before I give my answer is that when we have like this subject is for debate, and when people debate each other, they tend to disrespect each other without at least acknowledging that the other side of the argument is actually a pretty good argument. And hey, like if someone gives, if I, let's say, refute, Kelly knows me when it comes to debating.
Oh yeah.
But if I were to, let's say, rebut someone's argument, but if I feel that he had a very good argument, I'm still going to acknowledge that. Like, it was actually a challenge for me on how to give a reply to that answer he gave. Now, coming back to what do I think about meat eating? Again, I live my life according to my religious identity. And in Islam allows us to eat meat besides pork. The Quran mentions about the prohibition of eating pork in 4 different places. In Surah Baqarah, chapter number 2, verse number 173, Surah Ma'idah, chapter 5, verse number 3, Surah Anam, chapter number 6, verse number 145, as well as Surah Nahl, chapter number 16, verse number 115, that a Muslim cannot eat pork, right? But the Quran also goes on to say in Surah Ma'idah, chapter 5, verse number 1, that eat of the food which Almighty God has made halal for you. Halal means permissible. So it says that God has made the cattle permissible for you. Quran says in Surah Baqarah, chapter 2, verse number 173, that a Muslim can not eat anything unless the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Almighty God, has been mentioned during the slaughter. Now, the way how I view about eating meat, I feel that human beings, we are naturally meat eaters. We
Okay.
human beings are naturally meat eaters. One of the biggest reasons why is because our body contains 8 essential amino acids. There are no plant-based food out there which will give us the other 15 amino acids which are essential towards the human body. And one of the rich sources of amino acid is meat. At the same time, if you look at the animals around us, if you look at the goat, the sheep, the cow, they only have a digestive system which can digest plants. They also only have a flat set of teeth. They do not have any pointy set of teeth. So if you look at the carnivores, the lions, the tigers, the birds, they have pointy teeth and they have a digestive system which can digest only meat. But we human beings, on the other hand, God has created us with two. We have, if you go to the mirror, we have a flat set of teeth. We also have pointy eating teeth. We human beings also have a digestive system which can digest both vegetables as well as non-vegetables. If Almighty God wanted human beings to become vegans, why did He give us these pointy teeth? And why did He give us a digestive system which can digest both veg as well as non-veg?
That's it right there, bro. And looking at it from like a more like, I guess, a less religious standpoint, and that also works on science as well because it's literally the formation of your teeth. But I'm gonna get my example now. You okay? You guys okay with that, or
Yeah,
you
I
wanted
mean,
to go out there?
go.
Cool, cool. So when I was coming up with this question, because I usually come up with all the questions for these podcasts, I was thinking about myself, right? And one thing I commonly learned when I was younger is that red meat can create prostate cancer for males above the age of 40, right? So for me, I told myself that once I became 40 years old or 40 plus, I stopped regularly eating red meat to prevent prostate cancer, right? So that's like one of my biggest things that I learned when I was growing up. So like for me, um, like there's positives eating vegetables only. Like there's a whole bunch of documentaries out there going on about that, but it's a lot more effort than it would be to just eat meat by itself. For example, one of the pros of eating vegetables is that vegetables break down faster in your body, so you feel less hungry after eating food. A lot of commonly when you eat a lot of meat and you only eat meat, you'll be hungry for a little while after that because you can't break down the foods as fast as you break down the foods with vegetables. So you don't get as much satisfaction as fast, and that's at least a lot of fat people because they eat more than they're supposed to because they're not fold up until they get all that food in them. But regardless, the point of the matter is that like I think just like the formation of our teeth, we should have a split of both vegetables and meat. I think meat helps a lot with the protein aspect and getting a lot of those vitamins and supplements into our bodies, and vegetables help a lot with filling up our stomachs and giving us a lot more of the healthier nutritional value. And that's what I think is the balance needs to be made. And as we get older, we might need to shift more towards vegetable eating than meat eating because meat, unless it's white meat, is really going to become more unhealthy for us as we keep on growing older. So that's kind of how I view it.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'll
That's
go
kind of
next.
how I view it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. So, I love meat. Like I love like
Pause.
burgers. Facts. Pause. Actually, no. Let's not pause that. Fuck it. I know my sexuality. All right.
Damn. I respect that's kind of crazy. I respect that. I respect it.
I eat steak. Well, I eat like one of my favorite foods are barbecue ribs. I'm eating pizza with pepperoni. I would in our fruits and vegetables tier list. I know you guys. If you guys watched it, you guys know that I'm not a fan of most vegetables.
Yeah.
But I can eat a lettuce. I can eat. I like vegetables when it has meat next to it. Like I can, any like
Okay.
chicken and stuff like that. I can't eat just a bowl of salad. I'm not a cow. Uh, if you're vegan or vegetable, if you're a vegan or vegetable or vegetarian, you
Vegetarian. Yeah.
you can eat your leaves. I don't care. I won't judge you. I'll do me. Like Ralphie said. You do you. He'll do him. You know, I just.
How wildin'.
Yeah, in fact, like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it's healthy. Look, if I'm feeling bad, if I'm feeling like I've been eating too much junk food, yeah, I'll start eating a little bit more healthier, not a lot. Like I said, I will never eat just a bowl of lettuce. Like I need something, even if it's just fish. Look, I'll put fish with like I'm Hispanic, I have some fish and like lettuce and whatever, and tomatoes, onions, lime, lemon, whatever.
hmm
Shit.
I'll answer your question later on. Once we get Malik's opinion, I'll answer that question they put in the
About
chat.
what?
We'll go.
I don't know.
About like wisdom teeth and teeth in general. I
Oh,
have a pretty good answer on that one.
cool, cool,
But
cool.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Go ahead, you
that's
can keep
that's
going
how
though.
I feel about meat consumption. Like I never thought about I don't think I ever met a vegetarian. I mean if I have and they just probably never told me. I have
Yeah.
met people like because due to their religion they can't eat certain things. but I never questioned it.
Yeah.
I never like thought about it. I'm just like, oh, that's weird, blah 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 blah. Like it just never crossed my mind.
Yeah. Of
Um,
course, people can't eat those meats because of scientific reasons or
yeah,
medical reasons. Like we're not gonna be harping on those people because they can't because they
that's it.
literally can't.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's
so
it.
I get
Like
that.
I like someone ever just told me they don't eat something. I don't like. I don't.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna flame them. Like fuck. Like
yeah.
there's people who are
Is there
allergic as well.
exactly,
Um,
exactly.
but you can never catch me just eating grass.
We can't eat grass, but yeah,
All right. What about you, Malik? If you're still there,
yeah. What's up, Malik?
I'm still here. I'm still here.
how
Sorry.
you feel about
Uh,
meat consumption? You do it on a daily, right?
Mm-hmm.
list it,
Mm-hmm.
man. Oxtail, some barbecue chicken, some shit, some burgers, some ribs. All of that shit goes great. That shit tastes great. Barbecues are not my specialty, and we'll be having one this
RPG?
summer.
Oh, this summer? Oh shit!
Oh shit!
Can't
Shit.
you should have told us. Damn.
Can
All right.
can I have more than 10 people? Oh wait, break the rules maybe.
I mean,
I'm kidding.
can you?
Well, I you know what? We'll get like a lease or some shit,
We'll
right? We
think
can do like
about
a
it.
little lease.
We'll work on it. We'll work on it.
We'll get everybody gotta get tested before they show up, so we know
Facts.
nobody
You
has
can't
COVID
come in
in the
without the
area.
file, the form.
You gotta read the paper. You gotta read the paper with you. Yeah.
That's
Go ahead,
facts.
Malik.
But
Speak of shit.
yeah. And then obviously I'm not a fucking vegan or vegetarian. But the furthest I ever gone was like my father tried to instill on me when I was young, like not to eat meat on Fridays,
Oh.
and to substitute it with like fish or something.
Mhm.
Maybe have you heard of that, or Rafi? But either way, right? So I was following through with that for a while, and then at some point, uh, I just stopped. There wasn't any real reason, but I think later on is something I would adopt again because first of all, it forces you to open up your horizons.
Yeah.
You know what you can eat, what you like try to eat on the daily. Uh, Second, I do want to say that my brother is a vegetarian. I mean, not a vegetarian, a vegan. Well, he's on and off with it, but when I was in Alfred, I came back over, and because he was the only one living there with my mom, the stuff that was in the fridge at the time was mostly like, vegan, like vegan stuff. Like there
Yeah.
was not a lot of meat. Like my mom would still make stuff for me because she's not a vegan herself. Um,
Mhm.
but like converting me to like almond milk, drinking almond milk, getting rid of like cheeses in like the diet and stuff, and that stuff was. I mean, when I tried it, I was like, okay, the substitutes that they have for it aren't bad, but it's not the same. But I do think that if I like actually had to live that lifestyle, like, but
Okay.
the very first thing is that it's definitely not as satisfying like you were saying, Kelly. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I do think at some point like your body you would just adjust to it.
Okay.
But no,
Cool.
I
love
think well you're spitting. I think you make sense. Going off of your Friday question, I don't know if it's completely true, but I know like Muslims, for example, we do value praying a lot on Fridays. Like every single day is important to pray, but on Fridays, usually when it's most encouraged to go to a mosque and pray in a mosque and like hear people. Like that's when like one of the imams, which is like the leader of the mosque, they would come and say stories and in religious stories to the young people and to the people who want to learn more about Muslim culture. So that's like a very like important religious day for Muslims. So that's probably the reason why I want you to stop eating meat on Fridays, just because it's a way of respecting the religion.
For
But
me, it was Sundays.
yeah,
Yeah. And then there was the
yeah.
Ash Wednesday, what Catholics do, where they put the ash on your forehead. I stopped. I haven't done that for like since I was middle school, maybe.
Ah,
But
interesting. Let me just answer the question that was in the chat before I forget. It's a really simple question. It just asks like, for I don't know about the wisdom tooth part. I don't think I really know too much about wisdom tooth, but I know that if a baby were to be like, for example, if a baby were to have a diet of either vegetables or meat throughout a lot of their childhood, their teeth will actually slowly migrate into like whatever they're eating. So if a baby were to eat a lot of meat, their teeth will become a lot sharper, and the baby ate a lot of leaves and a lot of like plant-based substances, their teeth will become a lot flatter. So it is a matter of what they're eating or their diet is. So just to answer your question in that aspect, that's like one of the things right there. Where like if someone were to eat certain diets when they're younger, that would mutate their teeth into a certain way of lifestyle. So that goes to show a little bit more of human beings being more diverse and how we're able to do a lot in small quantities. But yeah, there's a little answer right there. But
Facts. All
yeah.
right, cool,
Yeah,
cool, cool. All right, then we can go
yeah.
to what are your goals? Well, what are you working towards? Do you have any life goals or advancement in your future?
Ralphie, you there?
Yep.
Okay, you want to answer that question first, Ralphie?
Okay, so what are you working towards? Well, I'm working towards to become a high school teacher for his global history and a religious speaker on the side. Religious speaking is more of like the passion, the passionate part, and the teaching is more of more about like social communication and income. But what I'm doing right now, in my last year of my undergrad degree. So yeah, your boy's graduating next spring.
Nice.
And
Congratulations.
what I have been doing actually is I have been doing this subconsciously actually. So because of COVID and everything, I obviously cannot find, you know, in-person internships in which I possibly can go into a classroom maybe once or twice a week, help
Mm.
a teacher assist her students, or also probably get involved in teaching the subject itself. But one thing in which my friends told me is that you can, because I have all of my religious speaking actually has been voluntary. I gave speeches in multiple CUNY campuses. I gave speeches in multiple different mosques, and that's one thing that I can definitely put on my resume. Voluntary speeches, because hey, speeches at the end of the day, you're teaching your audience something.
Hmm.
And that goes back to what I'm going to have to do when I become a high school teacher. I have to teach my students on how to think about history as a way, as a thing in which we have to learn so that we never repeat the mistakes again, you know? So one thing that I'm gonna do as right now, after I finish my bachelor's degree, I actually thought I was gonna possibly take one semester off for my master's. But I think to myself, I'm like, is that really worth it? Why, Mahatma Gandhi said, money comes and goes, but as time goes, it never comes back. So if I was
Yeah.
to take one semester off, I'm never gonna get all of that time back. And what if I get lazy doing nothing? Yes, I could be working, but that's only working. Like the classroom is like a different feeling with me because you have a professor over there, and if it's a good professor, he or she will start a amazing, entertaining academic discussion in which you will also discuss topics with your classmates.
Hmm.
And when I do my master's degree, I actually feel that it's too early for me to think about becoming a college professor or not. So I'm gonna let my actual years of teaching experience influence me on whether I should aim for my PhD and then be that college professor of history.
Okay. Okay. So you're just kind of going through it like in strides, I guess. They have to make that in smaller words.
Right. And
Hmm?
another thing is that, as I mentioned about the religious part, one thing I definitely want to do is that I want to. One second. I just got cut. One
Oh.
thing I actually want to do with the religious thing is that, believe it or not, guys, I actually do not have any passion of giving lectures. I don't.
Hmm.
Um, but at the same time, is just because I don't have a passion for giving lectures, I still understand the importance of it and the benefit that can come from it. So when it comes to like religious lecturing, as I mentioned, that I want to be able to bring people to one common platform. That doesn't mean that I'm telling everyone to become a Muslim. What I mean is that Muslims, Christians, Jews, Hindus, Sikhs, we all will have our differences. There's no denying that. But
Hmm.
people fail to realize that all of these differences, many of them are secondary topics. In history, there's a primary source and there's a secondary source. You cannot reference secondary sources without first referencing the primary sources. So the way how the what common point that I'm talking about is that every single religion has this one major topic in common. And that topic, that subject, is that God is one. You read the Quran, you read the Bible, you read the Hindu scriptures, it mentions that Almighty God is one, that He has got no idols. Now, obviously, from the Quran, I can mention many different verses, but if you want to know what is the concept of God in the religion of Islam in a nutshell, the best reply, the best quotation any Muslim can give to you is Surah Ikhlas, chapter number 112, verses number 1 to 4, which says, Kul huwallahu ahad. Say He is Allah, one and only. He is God, one and only. Allahu Samad. Allah, the absolute and eternal. Allah is the Arabic word for God. Lam yalid wa lam yulad. He does not beget, neither is He begotten. Walam yakullahu kufuwan ahad. And there is no one like Him. There is no one equal to Him. Does Christianity have the same concept of God? Like how the Quran mentions that God is one? Can Muslims and Christians unite in this one thing? Let's go to the Bible. What does the Bible say? The Bible mentions in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter number 6, verse number 4, is Moses, peace be upon him. He says, Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. It's a Hebrew quotation which means, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Now, when I talk to a Christian and I ask him that who is your religion do you consider to be of full authority and can give us the correct concept of God? That Christian then tells me that my authority is Jesus Christ, peace be upon him. Let's see what Jesus says about the concept of God. If we read the New Testament in the Gospel of Mark, chapter number 12, verses number 28 and 29, the scribes and Pharisees, the teachers of the law, they came to Jesus, on whom be peace, and asked him, O teacher, O master, which is the most important of all the commandments? Jesus immediately he repeated what Moses said in Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse number 4. Jesus replied, Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. So in Islam, Muslims and in Christianity, the Christians, they can come to this common point that God is one. What did the Hindu scriptures say? Many people think of Hinduism to be polytheistic, but if you read the Hindu scriptures, it actually speaks about monotheism. The declaration of faith in Hinduism is Ekam Braham Duita Naste, Nena Naste Kinchan, Bhagwan Eki hai, Dusra nahi hai, Zara bhi nahi hai. There is only one God, not a second one. Not at all, not at all, not in the least bit. What does the religion of Sikhism say about the concept of God? In the Sikhism, their scripture is known as the Adi Granth or the Guru Granth Sahib. If you read the Guru Granth Sahib, volume number 1, chapter number 1, verse number 1, it says, Ekyon kar sat nam karta purk, nirpau nirve, akal murad, ajuni sevam, Guru Prasad. One universal creator God. The name is truth. He has no fear, nor does he have any hate. He is the supreme Lord of all of the worlds. He is the enlightener. So Sikhism says one universal creator God. If you go to Judaism, we read in the Tanakh that the Jews follow as the religious law. In the book of Isaiah, chapter 43, verse number 11, book of Isaiah, chapter number 45, verse number 5, and book of Isaiah, chapter 46, verse number 9, that God is one. So what I want to do in the future is that I realize that many times when people speak about religion, they only speak about the differences. What I say, let us first speak about the major point we have in common, and that is that God is one. What is different, we discuss tomorrow. So that's what I want to do with
Yeah, the
those.
idea of unification, because to add to
Right.
that, like it goes off of the idea of not being make people feel alien, right? If you let them understand that their religious beliefs or even their cultural beliefs are in some way combined with yours, it creates a form of connection. It creates a form of like camaraderie already. So I respect that. It's just the idea of like allowing us to become more inclined to each other, so that you're more likely to hear everything I have to say without feeling
Mhm.
biased or angered or disrespected in some way. Yeah.
Especially because this answers and refutes the claim that Muslims follow a different God from Christians. Muslims do not follow a different God from Christians.
Yeah, and it all goes into the idea of us just sitting down and understanding that we have similarities and we have some differences. But like it's good to understand the similarities first so we can all be have common ground and go from there and not have to worry about any form of disrespect or I think your actions are completely noble. I think it's definitely a lot of hard work. You have to learn different languages, you have to read a whole bunch of scriptures, and you're reading it from the official source, from the official language, so there's no like translation errors, which is incredible. So I think what you're doing like a lot, and it's really cool that you're doing all that. I respect that. Yeah. Did anyone want to add their own? I guess what do they want to do when they grow up, and like what, like in general. What was the question again? It was
It was what are
what are
you
you working
working
towards?
towards? Do you have any
Hmm.
life goals or advancement in your future?
Yeah, yeah. Anyone want to go before I
I
go?
can go.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I'm still in school. Next year spring is when I graduate as well. Um, After that, I immediately decided to. I already decided what I was gonna do a while ago. Because
yeah.
I
Hmm.
already took a break from school after when I left from Alfred to back home. Um, I decided to go straight to my master's. Try to become a teacher, a high school teacher for mathematics. Continue with the tuition thing. I decided to continue this as long as I can.
Yeah.
First it was a hobby, but I'm actually really enjoying streaming games, doing the RPG podcast, stuff like that. Um, but besides that, for my life, like regular life, besides like like school and stuff, I am decided to. I want to try to start leaving once I get my bachelor's. I want to like go find apartments and stuff like that. Maybe the apartment will come true. Maybe it won't.
Hey,
Stuff
never
like
say
that.
never.
Facts.
Yeah.
But that's all based on other people as well. I'm definitely want to live with roommates before I start living by myself.
Hmm.
And I need to get money as well. I'm still working. I don't for my working scenarios right now. I don't know if I'm gonna keep the same job. I might leave it, or I might stay.
Hmm.
That hasn't come across right now. I want to finish school and stuff like that to worry about stuff like that. But be
Fashion really wants that closet.
fact. He got the closet facts. But besides that, I don't know. I don't really like. Besides my regular life, I don't have any other plans. Um, I still want to teach. I still want to do streaming. I want to move out. Still the same. Nothing changed. How about you guys?
Okay, I can go next. So like when it comes to the first question, I think what I'm working towards right now, I'm just working towards like finding what I want. Like I do plan on having a form of entrepreneurism in the future. Like I want to make my own business. I'm focusing mostly on game development with my whole entire group, the best friend group, right? But in general, I think I'd like to like I learned that when I was in Alfred, my biggest talent when it comes to business is marketing and like the idea of like um, talking to people and finding different ways of finding the highlights of certain companies, using those to like capitalize on their growth. So I think for me, that's probably what I would focus on a lot when I finally go into the work when I go into the workforce. I'd probably be more of a marketer and finding like different strategic plans on how to make a business grow and prosper in the internet sense and like a social sense. But from that aspect, going into the future life goals I have, I've been going to the gym now. I just started my third day going to the gym, and
Let's go.
yeah, like I just been trying to like work on myself, make myself feel physically stronger and mentally stronger, working on like discipline and like respecting myself, respecting my body. Like I'm just been trying to do a lot of things for myself because this whole COVID thing has been like at first I didn't really care about COVID. I thought COVID was like I was like yo I'm an introvert, so like me staying at home doesn't really change anything. But like now that I've been forced to stay home for more than a year now it's really starting to affect me. Like Malik already knows, we linked up already like 5 times and since I've been back in New York City. But each time we linked up, it's always so half-assed because we can't go to anywhere. We can only go eat, and then we have to eat
Facts.
outside. It's super cold outside,
It's too
so like it really
cold.
like yeah, it really fucks up our meetups. Like I haven't been able to meet up with Ralphie for 2 years almost because of this whole COVID thing, right? And me and Ralphie usually meet up every summer and every winter. So it's been a
Right.
lot of stuff going on in general that's been affecting my socialhood. So I kind of want to get that back, and I think in some ways it's finally time for us to realize that we have to live in a society where COVID is a mainstay, and we have to kind of balance our social distancing with us still meeting with friends and having a social life. So I'm trying to kind of get that back. That's been my whole entire achievement in this year of 2021.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. How about you, Malik? What's up?
So are we doing? Are we just doing like our yearly, or are we doing like just in general?
However you want to do it, bro.
Okay, I'll do this year because I feel like I've answered that question like 6 times here.
Go
um,
ahead, bro.
so this year, without a doubt, my first goal is to uh is to work on improving. Well, I think I've answered this one too, like the New Year's fucking episode. But self improvement for the body, physicality. I haven't bought my membership yet, but I've taken like multiple trips to the gyms with friends and shit. At some point, I do plan on getting my own membership just so I could go on my own time. Second is I've actually like I'm trying to do like a gallon of water a day, like
Nice.
like changing my diet slowly.
Mhm.
So that we get the summer bod. But
The metabolism gonna go ham, bro. Gonna go ham.
yeah.
Mhm.
I've been doing that for like 2 weeks now, and like if I don't complete it, then it's whatever. But at the end of the day, I'm always trying it, and at some point, it's just gonna come easy to me, like the flick of the wrist.
Exactly. Yeah.
By the end of the year, I do want to be employed, at least part time, somewhere graphic design related. If not, then I would start like my own. Casamigos is water. Yes, it is. But I would like to start my own like graphic design firm, either like where I market myself more as a freelancer, or I'm working, for an agency or something along those
Yeah, you can
lines.
work for the sauce
If I
company.
get
Shit. We need a graphic designer. You know what I'm saying?
so like I was saying, if I can't manage to work for you tried it.
I'm just saying, bro. You answering my question for me, dog. I'm just.
But yeah, if I can't like get a firm, then I'm working for an agency. That's like just somewhere I would like to be employed. I'm debating on if I want to take one of those like 6-month courses and get into IT as well. But that is not me personally.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be a decision I let you guys know like later this year.
Yeah. Like I know, I know somebody else who's in your field, and she's been a part of this podcast before. Katie, she does a lot of third party like logo making. Like she would get people to like, she could like people to contact her, and then she'll do logos, and she'll have like a little rough draft, and then she'll, do stuff like that. So maybe you can like talk to her about that and see how she did it. On some shit.
He's about to slide into the DMs.
But of course, yeah. Well, not. Whatever, Leo.
I just got
fuck
back.
you, man.
I just got back. I don't know what we're talking about.
we're trying to have a fucking man to man or growth conversation. You gotta talk about this fucking meme shit.
Yo, it'd be like that.
But yeah, in general, I hope the best for you, my man. You know what I'm saying? It's hard out here in these streets.
Damn, I missed Malik's life story. Damn, I missed it.
Well, he said he just pretty much regurgitated what he said during the New Year's podcast.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, sorry.
So. Do we want to get to the next question? Because we're kind of like we're 20 minutes before we have to end. I don't know how you guys feel about going over or whatever.
Let me overlook this next question.
We can skip 6. I'm not really a fan of 6.
That's crazy.
Do you want to skip?
Yeah.
I mean, we can.
6 is kind of like a little bit. It's a little bit of a woke question. Not gonna lie.
Is it really? I actually can't think of it. I mean,
it's not that. It's not that. Well. It won't take that much time.
Let's just do it. For the fans.
It's a yes or no.
Right.
It's a yes or no question.
You wanted to hear?
Is being a genius considered a disordered? I think everyone's an idiot, or they're just above. They're just an average. Honestly, like everyone's.
I'm just
to me, everyone's crazy at this point.
I'm just saying, bro.
Is it a disorder? You know,
it might be. It's not the average.
I wouldn't consider it disordered.
Oh, isn't disorder like not following the conventional means? A genius wouldn't be the conventional means.
A disordered is something can be considered a weakness, I guess, but not like But people usually use it. People can find a strength for their if they have a disorder.
Would you consider like having 6 fingers a disorder?
Well, I studied since I'm in education. I have taken a teaching class about teaching kids with disorders, right? And nothing ever came with being a genius. Nothing like never. It
Oh,
never came with that because being smart isn't like will put you below. It doesn't even. Sometimes it won't even put you high enough. Like probably just keep you the same level.
yeah.
But that considered the other disorders such as being crippled. You can't do something that other kids would can do, such as play sports,
Mm.
or if you have if you have a mental disorder, that'll put you behind because you learn differently and you have to be put in a different environment. Doesn't mean you can't do it. Just means your put your your whole life has to change compared to others. Unlike being a genius.
Okay, okay. I
Um,
guess I understand that. I
yeah,
guess his orders in this aspect is just a negative repercussion. It's not a
yeah,
positive thing.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. How about you, Malik? Want to add anything to this before we move on? Malik and Rafi?
Yeah, yeah, you just said it exactly how I was gonna say it.
Oh, okay, okay.
Kelly. I mean,
Okay,
not Kelly, Leo.
okay. How about you,
Because
Rafi?
I think we
Are you
all
still there?
think the
Oh,
same.
Malik, go ahead, go ahead.
no, 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 you're good, you're good.
You done? Okay. I don't know if Rafi's still there. Maybe he's doing a phone call, whatever. But can you hear us? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you, Kelly. I can
Okay.
hear you.
Do you want to try getting into that question? Like, do you think that like being a genius is
We
a
have a
disorder or
few
like?
minutes. We have a little bit, few minutes.
Yeah,
So
we
I
got.
don't.
Hmm?
So I don't think exactly that being a genius is considered a disorder, because I actually just feel that some people naturally have that brain talent, I guess you can say. Like I know a neighbor of mine who's in his senior year of Bronx Science, never studies, but gets 98s in every exam. Some people
Mm,
just seem to have that like talent, and the only thing I wish I the only thing we can say about disorders, right, is that we tend to look at disorders. Sometimes we overlook disorders. For example, like like a lot of NBA basketball players are extremely tall, right? But scientists and biologists say that if you're that tall, that's actually a genetic disorder. But we don't
mm.
look at it as a genetic disorder. Like it has become normal to us
We
to view.
glorify it.
Right, we glorify it, but at the same time, because we glorify it, sometimes we take it for granted as well.
Right.
And like a lot of like, remember Kelly, our high school teacher, Miss Hollis, took the SAT in sixth grade. Says she didn't study at all. Got
Mm-hmm.
a 1400 out of 15. So
Yeah.
like
Jeez.
He's a genius. Mm-hmm.
she's a genius, right? But she also did say that she took it for granted as well.
Right. I think in some ways, the reason why, like, going off what you said, not to like harp on this too long, 'cause I'll take 2 minutes. But with this disorder topic, the reason why I kind of wanted to bring it up is because for me, I feel like geniuses are kind of like taken for granted, where a lot of them are isolated in their own intelligence. Where like they're so smart that like having a conversation with their own age group could be considered like a hard thing for them to do because of how much smarter they are than like, for example, Timmy or like some other kid who's the same age as them.
well,
You know, it's a lot harder for them
see,
to like rationalize and stay calm or
I
like not stay calm, but like stay, I guess, focused.
for me,
Right.
honestly, that's a scenario that's it's so weird to me because I always find it so strange how people can still consider you're a genius if you're in that scenario, but you can't do it.
Communicate. Oh, okay.
Like you can't
Yeah.
communicate. So can you really call yourself a genius? Like to me, someone being smart is not like a genius. Isn't I don't think anyone is capable of doing everything like
Yeah.
intelligently.
Yeah.
Like I feel like everyone has a weakness at some point, and you could
Yeah.
like Kelly said, they just they can't communicate with people in their age group. That doesn't mean can that person be considered a genius now? No, they can't because
Yeah.
they don't have no social cues or social skills.
Right. Yeah. I get that
Um,
bites it in the butt a little bit.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
so that's why I always say like not when I said people are idiots, I don't mean it fully. Like I just feel like everyone has a weakness. I don't think
Yeah.
anyone's that intelligent or have that capability of doing everything.
Yeah. To add one more thing
Um,
to it, I know, like in European cultures, they use the word brilliant a lot, and like, like going off what you said right now with geniuses is a very like, it's a broad term. It's supposed to mean everything you do, you're good at. That's the idea of being a genius. When you're brilliant, it's more singular. When you're good at only one thing, and that's how Europeans usually categorize either being a genius or being talented at one aspect. So being either brilliant or being a genius. So I know what you're saying. Yeah, go ahead, man.
facts, I mean that's all I have to say. But you want to go to the next question or what?
You want to pick up the best one because we only have one more question I think we can do
Um,
before we have to close this off.
it's seven.
What
Like,
is the pursuit of
you want to do that?
humanity?
What's up,
Yeah, I
Rafi?
was gonna say
It
that
has a
too.
All right.
It has a sunglass emoji next to it, so I
Does
know
it?
Kelly knows that question is lit. That's what he put it
Okay. Okay, he put the okay. I guess you clicked on the notes. All right, let's do that then. What is the pursuit of humanity?
Okay.
there. In one word, I honestly just want to say survival.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I agree with that.
that's
Survival.
you're just trying to do
I
whatever you feel like. Human natural instinct is to survive. You know, they try to do whatever they feel like will make their life better or easier, stuff like that. Um, so I agree.
we can
I don't
wait.
think I
Let's
can
repeat
add
the
it.
question one more time. Crash it didn't get it.
What
The
is
question was, what is the?
the
Oh,
pursuit
go ahead.
of sorry? What is the pursuit of humanity?
There you go. Yeah. All right, go ahead, Leo.
Oh no, he's asking a question for us. What is humanity's goals?
Oh, I thought he was asking us what
Okay,
the question
before we
was.
go, okay, we can answer that since everyone just says survivability. I don't think there's
Hmm?
anything to add. Like, what is humanity goals?
Ninja way.
Isn't that the same thing though? I guess
Kind of.
survivability.
Maybe he might ask it before we got to the question.
Okay.
Um, I guess he wants us to list it off in the. I guess I guess survival would mean us having more children, procreating. Right, one of the big ones. Procreation, understanding, having a place where we can prosper and live a comfortable life. Like those are the obvious ones. I guess having a close abundance of water and food. Uh, feeling naturally good. I don't know.
Just yeah,
I guess
feeling naturally good is something someone can
Mm-hmm.
like disagree with when people say, "Oh, money doesn't." I always like I think we said this before in another episode about money, and it was
Yes, sir.
like money is not people say that money doesn't bring you happiness, but I always believed money is a source to happiness because everyone's trying to survive. And how do you survive? You need money in the end of the day.
yeah,
You want love, you need money for that as well. You know, you can't how would you talk to her without a we live in an era of technology and technology costs money.
yeah,
I always sum it up like that, you know. Anything survivable. Anything you need at this era to survive.
yeah. I agree
I'm
with
so
that.
glad that you actually mentioned that because when I hear a lot of people say that money doesn't buy happiness, I actually use a key word. I say money does not buy complete happiness.
Yeah.
The word complete is that key word right there, right?
Mhm.
And the reason being is that we have millions of examples by actors such as Robin Williams who was he going through any financial difficulty? Hell no.
That man was
But still,
chilling.
like these famous actors go through things in life in which okay, so the way how I think about it when it comes to like all these actors and rich famous people is that guys, you know the difference between us and them is that the reason why we cannot think ahead is because we're always thinking how are we going to pay next month's rent, right?
Mhm.
But they already are way beyond that. They are not worried about, having to, clunk up and then, pay rent. So now they're able to see the picture beyond, and because now they see the picture, they see the picture beyond, which we still do not see. They're able to know that even though they have the finances, there's still something on the other side of the door, right? And that's one reason why I feel that um I use the word complete happiness, because money, yes, it can, obviously, like the brother said, that you need food, you need to be able to pay your rent. And even if you, even like a lot of people like to mention, okay, so there's a lot of people out there in the world who like to talk a lot of smack about someone who works 9 to 5. I have met so many people on the subway that just comes up to you randomly and says, "Bro, are you really good working 9 to 5, bro? You could become your own employer." And but hey, even when you're an employer, the money that you get from the business, you have to put that money back in the business. It's not like you keep all the money to yourself. So even that employer, while yes, he may be able to pay his rent for the home,
Mhm.
a lot of employers don't tell this to their employees, but employee taxes are a lot of money. And plus, many businesses are rented. Like the area is rented. So like, imagine what the employers have to go through, like how they sleep at night thinking, how am I gonna pay next month's rent for my business? How am I how am I gonna be able to afford that if I also need to manage some way to employ my employee taxes? So that's the way how I look at it. Like I like to I add the word complete because once you do have the finances, there's a whole nother picture that we are not seeing.
Yeah, I think it's I think that goes back to what Leo said. Leo basically said it doesn't bring you happiness, but it can guide you towards happiness. And I think that just goes off of what you're saying as well. It's a con. How about you, Malik? Because Malik, you've been quiet for a minute. How do you feel about this whole entire topic? The pursuit of
Uh,
humanity and money in general, all that good stuff.
I mean, I do think that like the pursuit of humanity is just to find like your own like way of life. I guess I said this earlier, but hold up. Let me reread what that first question was. The first question, right? How do you define humanity? Humanity is like finding yourself as a person and then like finding how to survive and live past it. And
Yeah.
then the pursuit of it, because we already know what it is like how a person obviously gets to that point. Like, what
Mm,
decisions do they make as children to guarantee themselves, whatever like key things they would need in the future, or did they not? Did their parents give them anything, and stuff like that? And it's all for the person to reach their end goal as a person, not as a human, but as like their own person. Like Leo, he wants to be a teacher, like you said earlier, and so does Rafi. And then uh, obviously the things that they need to do are going to be completely different from the things me, a designer, wants to do, and things that Kelly wants to do as a businessman, as
mm-hmm.
his own potential entrepreneur, etc., etc. And it's funny because we all start the line like at the same point, sort of, as close as it can get in school, in kindergarten or pre-K, whatever you want to call it. We all start there, and then we all kind of like go along the same line as as closely as possible until we get to college, where obviously, some people dropped out since high school, some people didn't pursue college, they went to trade schools and etc. And then, from after high school, you know, is just this free range of someone as a person getting to explore themselves, the things they want to do, and how they want to live their life and enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
That's just what I think the pursuit is: the pursuit of humanity.
The Pursuit of Happiness. That's a movie.
Facts.
All right.
I love that movie.
Yep. All right. I guess we can do last words, right? If anyone has more to say, right?
I think we're good.
We're
I think
good.
we can do last words. Yeah, yeah,
All right. So we start with Rafi and then we head down. All right. Last
yeah.
words, Rafi.
Yeah. Anything you want to say to the chat before we end the podcast? Any last remarks you got for the peoples?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, definitely. Chat. Remember one thing that we human beings live by the law of average. There's always going to be pros and cons. There's never going to be anything that is absolutely 100% perfect. And just how we were just speaking about money being the roots of happiness. Remember, we human beings also know the saying very well. You know how a lot of people say money buys happiness, but a lot of people also say money is the root of all evil.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's the pro, and then the latter I just mentioned is the con, right? Law of average. Another thing, Chad, I would like to mention is that if I have hurt anyone's feelings by accident today, please forgive me from the bottom of your hearts. I do not mean to make anyone feel bad just because I have a certain opinion or a certain belief. But at the same time, that's also one of the biggest reasons why I gave references from the different scriptures as well, because I'm trying to make a point in which look at the commonalities that our scriptures have with one another. I personally do not trust people to judge a religion or a belief by the human eye. What I mean by that is that there was a person, for example, a Christian brother. He said to me that where did Jesus make his mistake? And we as Muslims, we love and respect Jesus, on whom be peace. We believe that he is one of the mightiest messengers and greatest messengers of Almighty God. So I replied to him that Jesus never made a mistake. It is the churches that make mistakes. The same way with the mosque. Just don't, imams, although, imams are looked as the leaders of Islam, you don't, if the imam says anything that contradicts the Quran, we follow the Quran. We don't follow the imam at that particular point. So that's what I just wanted to do. That, make sure that everyone here, we all enter a common platform. And lastly, Chet, I would like to also mention as well that I'm a 23-year-old brother, and I was supposed to get married last summer, but unfortunately, COVID came and our tickets were canceled. I'm getting married overseas. So definitely keep me in your prayers that everything goes well for me and my fiance, and that
Of
we
course.
be able to have a blessed marriage. Especially, we made history, and that history being that in both her family and my family, there has never been love marriages, because in India and Bangladesh, arranged marriages are more dominant. We're the first individuals to have a love marriage in the family.
Preach,
That's
bro. That's clean. That's clean.
very nice.
I
That's
mess with
nice
it.
to
I
hear.
mess with it.
Uh,
Yeah,
Also,
all
I
good
gotta
vibes.
ask. I gotta ask where the thing is. I'm gonna fly there with Kelly, and then I'm gonna bring a
Boy already knows Bangladesh.
gift. Bangladesh. All right, bet.
Oh, we good. We good. We good. We good. We could definitely go there, bro.
If you guys love Indian, if you guys tried Indian food and Bengali food, then don't worry, we're gonna have that in the wedding.
Oh, the chat wanted to say that they really respected you being on this episode, and they think you're an
Facts.
amazing person, and they really like none of them really got offended by what you said. There was one person who was kind of trying to talk shit, and then he
Oh,
kind of
was
like
it?
disappeared. We're not talking shit, but he was trying to like refute something that Rafi was saying, but he just said that's not true and you're wrong. And I'm like,
Oh, I didn't
you
see that.
could bring you could bring evidence, but he just kind of just said those things. So I was like, all right, whatever. But in general, I think everyone really respected you because you came in a very formal, respectful, logical, analytical, scientifical, religious kind of connotation. So you came really strong. So I think we want to see you again because, like, honestly, this is the first time in history that we've been over the double digits throughout the whole entire episode. We've been averaging 18 viewers. Usually we get around 6 to 7 viewers. We got 18 throughout the whole
Oh,
entire
nice,
video, which is
nice.
which is crazy. So thank you for that, Ralph. You bring a new audience in here, bring a bigger audience, and I really respect that.
I mean, I want to say I was hurt from how amazing you were. I never met someone so who inspired me so much. I mean, like I would consider myself an ignorant person, cause I try not to, I don't force myself, or I don't like, I'm not interested in certain things. But like when someone talks to me like the way you did to the audience, I kind of like, I was intrigued and I was like, oh, I want to learn more about this from you. But like from just in this conversation, like I wouldn't search it up. I wasn't like, I'm just like, all right, there's no reason for me to not believe what you just said.
Yeah, you sound genuine.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
All right,
that's one thing that I always say, that as human beings, we're bound to have differences. Even a husband, dude, a, a husband and wife make a child, but the child is still different from the parents. That's just humanity right there.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'll go next with my last words. Kind of already said mine, but I'll just say it again to regurgitate. I'm just proud that we got to this milestone because this is a big milestone for me, for us. I really appreciate having Rafi. Rafi's one of my best friends. I know him for like almost 7, 8 years now. So it's been a long time since I've known Ralphie and known him since freshman year of high school. So we've been going strong, and he's one of the people I really respect. I see him as a brother. So I'm glad he could be here and be a part of this relationship with us and be a part of future episodes as well. So thank you, man, for being here.
You know what we should have
Yeah.
a special episode about?
Hmm?
That brother or that sister on the chat who didn't agree with some of my viewpoints.
Yeah. I want
Mm,
to have him be a
this
part of
is-
one of the episodes. I want to know what he thinks because he was talking
Definitely.
about like certain things like he said that that's not agnostic and he was bringing up some stuff, but I want to know who he was. I think he left already, sadly, but I would like to have him in the
Oh,
future.
yeah, I know.
You know what it is?
Yeah.
Okay, if you can contact him, that'd be great. But yeah, I don't want to disrespect him. I have no disrespect in his person. I just want to know what his thoughts were and
I,
why he
I,
believed those things. But
I think a special episode should be Rafi versus Kelly.
oh,
We have a lot of episodes that people want to versus one of us. It's kind of. I mean, I think majority of the people want to versus Kelly because
yikes. I don't want to verse, bro. I've been
because he knows
debating
he's
all
gonna
my life,
lose.
bro.
All right.
I've been fighting way too much.
All right,
I'm
well,
a humble man
Nah,
now.
dude,
Yeah.
I am rusty. I'm very
hmm
rusty on my
Kelly,
debating
you
skills.
got like another 50 years of arguments as soon as you
Uh,
find your wife.
facts.
that's
Never done.
actually that is facts. Happy wife, happy life, right? Nah, that's not even how it is. Never mind. I'm wrong about that. We arguing every
Uh,
single day
haha.
in the young household. That's just how it is.
What, yo? Why'd you cook these eggs like this?
Yo, who told you
What?
to buy Colgate? You already got brainwashing serums in that Colgate, right? I'm gonna
That's
go ham.
crazy.
But yeah,
All right, last words, Malik.
yeah. Go ahead, Malik. Go ahead.
Well, first thing I do want to say, you've been very insightful, very nice to listen to, pleasant to listen to, uh, Rafi. It was very interesting as we had conversations relating to like all the scriptures, and then 10 minutes later you're like, yo, yeah, I had this 3.3 KDA in COD and I was beating this dude ass, but I can't say that to him, and then we just went right back to the scriptures.
That actually, I was like that.
Wait,
Relatable.
That was funny
wait,
as fuck. I
Said
can't.
I'm a
it
humble
is
COD player, and he just started
because,
roasting the fuck out of him.
Yeah.
dude, it is, it is like, dude, like it's so strange that like human beings have ego, but like I have never seen anyone so much with so much ego and arrogance like him. I have a higher KD than him. I have a higher win loss. I have a higher score per minute than him, right? And I knew this guy for like 8 9 years, and he never is. He always blames the game. Like what I
I know.
the
Naturally,
type of player
naturally.
that I am, the type of player that I am, I never say, I never blame the game. If
I do.
I get my ass beat by other good players, hands down to them. Hands
What if
down
they
to them.
don't own the game though? What if they don't own the game?
I
That could
I
happen if you
blame
don't
the
own the
game
game.
regardless. I'll blame the game even if I'm bad. I'm like it's the game's fault for me being so bad.
Ah,
Yeah,
damn.
the way how I think when I play Call of Duty, and like yeah, everybody complains about that one person sitting in a corner with his gun aimed down sighted. But hey, if you paid $60 for the game, I cannot tell you how to. If you that's your money that you spend, you play the
That's
game however
fast.
the hell you want. Like you play the game however the hell you want. That's how I look at it.
I guess we got
All right, Leo, send us home, bro.
all right. Oh, okay, it's my turn. Great. I want to
Yeah.
say thank you to Ralphie and everyone else, the audience. This was a great episode. I actually enjoyed it. I wish I didn't have to keep leaving. My parents just came home, so there was groceries to pick
Hmm?
up to be yeah. I couldn't hear most of it because like then my dog would start barking. But the things I did enjoy was from our conversations with some of these questions,
Hmm?
most of these questions. Um, for final words, for like announcement now for the RPG podcast in the future. Last week
Yes.
I mentioned about the Minecraft server. After this episode's over, I am putting up a question of trying to find 5 people to join the realm that I'm gonna create. If I get 5 people, this excludes me, Kelly, and Malik. There has to be 5 new people, and none of us could be those 3. Kelly, yep, that's right. Kelly's gonna be joining us with Minecraft. It's
Yikes.
confirmed.
Kelly, you play
At
Minecraft?
least one time.
Hell
Just at
no.
least one time.
It is
He has
I
confirmed.
to do
never
it just
touched
one
that
I
time.
game.
never played Minecraft, but it looks so complicated at the same time.
I mean, we can all learn
Gonna teach
together.
Kelly how to
Facts.
fucking build.
Have
gonna
to
be
be
I don't
creative.
want to
hilarious.
play fucking
Oh my
Minecraft.
god.
I said it in the beginning of the podcast. I'm not a gamer. I'm a COD boy.
Look, I'm not a gamer in general. I don't play any of these
Facts.
damn
When Kelly
games.
does play a game, it's so sad. It's just like the saddest thing you
Look,
can watch.
Oh, we're definitely teaching Kelly.
Kelly actually
Yikes.
like I have because of Kelly, I have one of the best gaming memories, and that is like I always watched Pokemon the anime, but I never played the games before. And Kelly
Hmm?
actually had Soul Silver, and he
Hmm?
lent it to me, and then I was like, "Oh shit, it's this!"
Yeah, that shit was
That's
crazy.
like the best.
That's a
That's the
really
best
good game
Pokemon
too.
game. Yeah, that's the best
That's the
Pokemon
best
game.
game. I think I'll let you keep it, right?
Yeah, I still have it.
Yeah, I'll let you
Okay.
keep it.
Yes.
Yeah.
For the servers, it depends on what kind of Minecraft realm you bought. So there's 2 different Java, and then there's what's the other one? Freaking
Bedrock
Yeah, yeah.
slash console.
That's what we're gonna be doing, the Bedrock slash console, because I'm pretty sure I wanna make it diverse. I wanna make it diverse for other people, who may not have the Java edition. Unless you guys prefer Java, and then I'm okay with buying the Java edition as well. I just made, to be honest, I just wanted to make it easier for myself because I have it for the Switch.
Yo, all
You
right, hold on.
mentioned
Yo,
Minecraft. It
before
reminded me of
anything, I
something.
just want to let you guys know, uh, you do not have to buy it off of. You do not have to buy Minecraft off of Minecraft or Mojang, Microsoft. You could buy it off of G2A.com, which is
Oh,
like
yeah, GTA.com.
it's like a really weird sales thing. Or
Sponsor me.
honestly, you could even buy it off of eBay. They sell like Minecraft accounts for like $2, and then you could get it back
Sponsor me,
Oh.
please.
safely.
I actually want to say
I'm not sponsored,
one
but
thing. I want to say
Oh,
one
do you
thing
want to
really,
sponsor
really.
that eyeglasses
Yeah, I
area,
want to,
Leo?
but we just keep. I mean, I'm okay with this. I'm okay how long we take. I don't really have
Yeah,
much to
okay.
do today.
Go ahead,
I
Ralph. You were saying something?
actually so on April 14, 2021 is gonna mark 1 year that I actually came back to playing Call of Duty. But the brother when he mentioned about streaming, right? I actually turned on my PlayStation 5 the exact time he was mentioning it because a lot of people or like a lot of friends were telling me that like me, I have no intention of becoming a streamer. But at the same time, I do know that when my friends are not, let's say, online PlayStation or PC, they could possibly, and they're like, they're just probably like laying down at home. I wouldn't mind if like five of my friends just randomly start watching my stream. So I actually went on my settings on the PlayStation 5 and there's actually a broadcast link and it has Twitch and YouTube and all that stuff. So I'm actually considering probably having my first Call of Duty stream this week.
oh, let's
So
go.
Nice.
you influenced me to uh you know like I mentioned, guys, it is not entertaining for a person to go 45 kills and 45 deaths. It is entertaining to watch a nigga go 80 kills and 2 deaths. That's
Facts.
entertaining right there. And I'm gonna
That's
try
what
to
I'm
put
saying.
those
That's pretty
numbers
funny.
on my stream this week.
Hmm. Also, if you want, you can always tell Malik about it, and he can like do a little promotional thing for you when you go live. He
Oh
can
yeah,
set it up for you. Yeah.
My first ever stream.
All right.
Hmm.
Oh yes. Another. I'm just gonna free
Wow.
advertise a lot of things. If you guys wear
Go ahead.
glasses, yo, get it from Zenny Optical. I'm gonna send a link right now. I bought my glass. They're prescribed as well. I bought mine for $24. With prescription and an engraving. That all comes with it. And they're water resistant and light, and they have light restriction as well. Why can't I post things here? But yeah, if you guys have glasses, yo, get it from there. Get it from there. I just wanna. I don't know why I like telling people about it, cause I mean, my friends, majority of them wear glasses, and they always be telling me that their glasses cost like $100. I am trying to get sponsored, but yeah. My glasses itself, without the water resistance and without the light restriction and without the engraving, is only $9, and that comes with the prescription. So go get your glasses there. Zenny
Oh,
Optical.
we're not sponsored. He just likes
Yeah,
the product. All
yeah.
right, we're
I
not
just
we're
like
not
the product.
sponsored.
I'm not sponsoring them. We're not
gotta get
sponsored.
he,
sponsored.
he just trying to keep you guys woke. That's all I
Facts.
try to do.
I'm trying to let you guys be cheap. And, all my glasses come from there actually. The ones that I'm wearing, the poster. I got new glasses. I don't really like these though, cause they. I might get new glasses later.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, all from that website. All right.
Clean.
Besides
And
that,
guys,
remember, watch
lastly,
out for that Minecraft
thank you,
announcement.
thank, thank you for inviting me to today's podcast. This has been a very entertaining discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Believe it
Facts.
or
Thank you
not,
for coming.
because my store actually closed in the 11th of February. I worked at a supermarket called Best Yet Market or Best Market, and we got purchased by a German company called Lidl 3 years ago, and my store was the last one to close for renovation. Um, and it's just bored being at home like all the time doing the same thing all over again. So happy that you guys invited me that I got to do something different at my house today.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the reasons why we started this whole podcast because we wanted to do something during the whole boring Corona summertime. We had nothing to do during the summer,
And it's
so
good
we
to
are
keep
like
up with
linked
each
up and
other.
started
Mhm.
doing this.
Yep, it's
Hmm.
good to keep
Yeah,
up.
so it's
Don't be
yeah,
afraid
yeah.
to talk in the Discord. We sometimes have random conversations, have memes if
Hmm.
you're into that.
And
Oh, yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Link that
Have a good
Discord.
one.
All right, guys.
Join
Yep.
join the
Bye.
Discord.
Link the Discord before we leave. Thank you. Bye. Say bye to
Bye
me.
bye.
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 Bye
All right, I
bye.
ended it. You can say how
Are we
much
out?
how
Okay.
much Malik sucks.
Nah.